Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I am Kris Randazzo, and joining me tonight is the biggest power brick I know, Dan Ryan.
I've been called worse by better than you.
Fair enough.
I don't know. That was antagonistic. I take it back. Sorry.
Okay. Now, truth comes out. It's time for the next installment of Stone Age Standouts, where Dan and I determine the 5 essential games for a given platform. This month, we're covering the ColecoVision. What are the most emblematic games on Coleco's Atari competitor? Get ready for a mean game of Donkey Kong, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
Oh. Spoilers.
Hi.
Donkey Kong is not on my list. Spoilers.
Mine neither.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck it. That was anticlimactic then.
Hi, everyone. This is episode 614. It's the week of April 17th, 2026, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the heck else is going on in our lives. Speaking of which, I can't breathe very well. So I've been.
I noticed you really struggled with that. Speaking of,
working on it. So I'm on a couple of medications now for an ear problem that I'm having, and some of the side effects are shortness of breath, which I didn't find out about this until after I started taking them. I went to the doctor and they prescribed me this stuff, and then I took them the first night. And I woke up around like 12:30, and I really had to pee. And so I'm standing there, and then I start getting really nauseous and dizzy. So I spent like a good hour just on the bathroom floor, unable to crawl to bed the first night. So then we looked up the side effects, like, insomnia, shortness of breath. Like, this is all, these can all happen. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm getting the freaking cocktail. So like, just regular moving around, regular daily activities are winding me pretty thoroughly, but I think I'm about halfway through the regiment, so problem is my freaking ear still hurts. So
have you noticed any improvement at all, or is it just...
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe a little. It doesn't hurt all the time, and I would say there's probably a little improvement in the ear today over yesterday. Because yesterday we started feeling like it was a little bit worse, but today it's better than it was yesterday, I think. So it's hard to tell. There's been a lot of chaos around my house this week. The kids have been on spring break, and we had a surprise visit from the in-laws, and medications and stuff.
That's something, because like having your ear hurt to the point where you need to take medicine for it, like that has to be just excruciating at certain points.
It's actually so I used to get ear infections all the time when I was a kid, and my sister just had an ear infection that she ignored because that's what she did, and it got so bad that she wound up with a case of Bell's palsy. And I don't want to walk around looking like I've had a stroke. Yeah, so I don't want that to happen. So I'm proactive about ear infections. But yeah, this one, it doesn't feel like a regular ear infection. And the doctor was like, it doesn't look infected, but it's definitely inflamed. So that's why they're hitting me with antibiotics right now.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what it actually is. Maybe it's an infection. Maybe it's something leading to an infection. But whatever it was, the amoxicillin didn't kill it. So
yeah,
it didn't amox it out of my system.
That's why I'm sucks, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little short of breath tonight. I apologize. I'll try to keep it under wraps. It's like, as long as I sit and don't do anything, I feel just fine. But as soon as I start, like, I had to cancel Quizzo this week. I was supposed to host Quizzo this week, and I was like, my breath was so bad on Wednesday that like my hands were getting tingly. And I was like, I shouldn't be driving, let alone hosting trivia. So I'm going to try to... I'm glad we're covering ColecoVision, where I think you'll have a little bit more to say about it than me. But yeah.
No, I'm going to be very short on purpose. Mousetrap, go.
Fantastic.
Thoughts.
Fuck.
Spoilers.
So I guess, that brings us to our feature topic, the Stone Age Standouts, is, where we're running through different game systems, mostly in chronological order, and choosing what we think are the 5 most definitive games for the platform. This time we did ColecoVision, and this is a platform that Dan is very familiar with, and I am really not familiar with at all. I spent some time with it over this past week, and it's been an interesting experience. I certainly don't dislike it as much as I did the Intellivision. I found the Intellivision to be a largely wretched experience, mostly because of the controller, and like I just didn't really love the games all that much. I liked some of them, and I did have fun, but all in all, it wasn't like. But then the Odyssey 2, I had a blast with. Yeah. ColecoVision, I think for me personally, was probably somewhere in between. Because this is a really, I guess I never really pieced together that this game's library is almost completely devoid of anything exclusive. Like there's very, very little software made for this system. Yeah. Which is weird to me. So, I mean, I wound up picking games that are all multi-platform with the exception of, I think they're all multi-platform in one way or another. Yeah. 4 of them are ones I saw. I hooked up my ColecoVision. I don't know if my choices are going to be broadly, the ones that most people consider the best, but I mean, whatever. I guess I wound up being attached to ones that I had the actual hardware for more than ones that I played through emulation. But I did give, most people's lists, a once over in emulation, and then tried most of the games that I own, because I own a pretty decent stack of ColecoVision games, but I think I'm pretty happy with my list. Give us your ColecoVision history.
So the ColecoVision, it's kind of weird. Like I was just talking about it with the kids. I was upstairs and I was running through it a little bit again. It is a relatively frustrating system to emulate because the controller is so very specific, right? It's a little taller than an iPhone. Like an iPhone Max, right? Like a Pro Max size. It's a little taller than that. Probably about as wide. But it's got a big, chunky joystick in the middle. It's got 2 chunky buttons on the side. And then it's got a numerical pad down the front of it. And that numerical pad, right, you would put different inserts in different games it would do different things, right? So, I had it on upstairs and I was just kind of showing the kids some of the games, and we were talking about it. And what's weird about this system, for me personally, right, is that this was, and you've got a picture of it right here for those of you with the benefit of flash photography.
The video podcast just went and grabbed my grabbed one, which I learned yesterday. These are the same connectors as Atari and whatnot in 3DO. Yeah. These things, you can use those kinds of controller extensions on it, which is actually quite useful. But yeah, the alphanumeric keypad, this is so much better than the ColecoVision's alpha pad. Like, it's not even a contest. Yeah. The weird membrane thing on Intellivision is just dreadful. But this joystick thing is pretty nice. Can this be a paddle? Does this does the twist do anything, or does it just twist? I didn't encounter any games that would do that.
Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't think so. But anyway, so this was the first system I had, right? I was a very, very little kid. And it's weird, like, because I had nothing but fond memories of this system, right? I remember playing this as a very, very little kid. My first video game memories are of this system, right? And I can remember sitting in, in the living room / bedroom of the studio apartment space that my mom had after my mom and dad got divorced when I was living up in Fairlawn in New Jersey and North Jersey. And it wasn't until later that I started to realize that the reason this system was purchased for me is so that I would leave my mother and her new boyfriend alone and not be a bother. Right. So like I have like kind of these like weird feelings about this of like so much of my childhood. I, as a little kid, had originally thought like, oh, this is fucking awesome. I get everything I want. And then as an adult, and I'm like, oh, they wanted me to go away. Cool. Got it. Understood. That's why I had all that shit. Awesome. So like there's like a bunch of weird feelings I have around this, but I do have a lot of nostalgia for this system, and I do think a lot of the experiences hold up, even with the difficulty in some of the emulation, right? You didn't need the numeric keypad for everything.
No.
But even with some of those hurdles, we were playing it upstairs, and the kids were having a blast, with some of the games that we were going through. And it's such a better looking system than the 2600, right? Like, I don't even think that's up for debate, right?
I would say largely it is. There are things about it that, there are certain things about the Atari 2600 that, I don't know if animate's the right word, but there are things that tend to move a bit more smoothly on the Atari. There's something about the way the graphics move on the Atari that the ColecoVision can get a little chonky with. But yeah, by and large, this is closer to like the SG-1000 because it is basically the same system as the SG-1000. So like this is, I would consider this almost a full generation leap ahead of the Atari. And I think that's fair. 8-bit like this couldn't keep up with the NES or even the 7800.
No,
but it comes pretty close.
It does, and it really.
Who knows if this could have kept up with the 7800? To be perfectly honest with you, because it never really got a chance. Like, we never really got to see what big time developers could squeeze out of the ColecoVision. To be perfectly honest, so maybe it could have. It's just such a weird system, right? Because the ColecoVision from the Connecticut Leather Company, that's where you get Coleco, right? It came out in August of 1982 in North America. It came out in July of 1983 in Europe, and it was discontinued in 1985. So short lifespan.
Very, very short lifespan. In that lifespan, though, we not only got the ColecoVision, but we got the roller controller, the driving controller, the Super Action Vision controller, the 2600 expansion, the Atom computer expansion. Like, there was just a fuck ton of stuff that came out for this.
Yeah, they went all in.
And it really was, like, for my money, this is a really awesome system. I really do genuinely love it. And it was so impressive for when it first came out.
Yeah, at the time, there was no better way. So one of the reasons that a lot of the ColecoVision games are still fun is because they weren't, they're adaptations of timeless arcade-style games. Back then, there was no better way to play arcade games at home. Like, there
definitely wasn't.
Arguably Vectrex, depending on the games themselves, but that's such a different animal because it's vector graphics. But for the games that I picked, they were all very, very good interpretations of the games that were out there, and including Donkey Kong. And I guess we should both address this right now. Neither one of us has Donkey Kong on our list.
I don't know, and it is. My Donkey Kong, though. Like, when I think of Donkey Kong, it is this version. It's the way this version looks and sounds, and the glacial pace at which Mario ascends ladders. Like, but this is my Donkey Kong.
That's fair. See, I didn't choose Donkey Kong because while it is a very solid port of Donkey Kong, what the Coleco... Right, you're trying to think of what are the games that the ColecoVision... Like, what defines this platform?
Yeah.
And when you think about what are the games that define the platform, Donkey Kong is like ultimately the one that comes to mind because that was what back then this was the best version of Donkey Kong you could play at home.
And it was the pack-in title.
It was the pack-in title. This was the thing that sold ColecoVisions. The problem is that it's not just that it's Donkey Kong, it's that it's faithful arcade ports. Excellent arcade ports are where it's at. And as far as those go, there are just better ones. Like, when I think of Donkey Kong, I think of the NES version and the arcade version. And while the ColecoVision version is very impressive for what it is, I think the other games that I picked on my list are more impressive for what they are and more show the positives of what the system was capable of. I have feelings about a couple of the other iconic games that people talk about on this platform too that we'll get to. But I guess we should get started. So, do you want to go first, or do you want to go last?
I'll go first. I don't have a problem with that. And
so we're going alphabetical order?
Yeah, alphabetical order. My
did
list
you get your prices this week, sir?
Oh, I got loose and inbox, and I got the whole thing. I updated them today.
Okay.
This one I'm taking serious because I actually give a shit.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. That's fucking terrible. But I don't know. I mean, like, my list isn't necessarily like the best games, but it's also not the best games, right? But these are the ones that I feel just very, very strongly about. And the first one of those is a game that I had just an absolute blast with, and that is Carnival. Carnival you can currently pick up for $8 loose or $18 complete in box. And Carnival was a very simple game, and it almost it's almost got like a little bit of like a Space Invaders kind of feel. Not that shit comes down on the screen, but you are a gun at the bottom of a screen, and there are there's 3 rows up top above your gun, and there's bunnies and like owls and ducks, right? And you have to shoot up at them. And in the middle, there are pipes spinning around in a circle. And as you play through the levels, the points you get for hitting those pipes goes down, right, as you're playing through. So the whole point of it was to strategically take out the things in the middle of the screen so that you could get yourself up to shooting those pipes and getting the highest score possible. You did have a limited number of bullets, right, that you could replenish. There were boxes that would go across the screen that had little numbers on them, so that would tell you how many more shots you could get. There were some bonus points that would pop up, and there were at times there were ducks that would like fly down to the bottom of your screen, and they would eat your bullets, and then you'd be like, "Fuck, asshole duck!" And it's just a simple Carnival shooting game. It is an arcade port. There was a bonus stage in between, right after you complete the stage. There's a little bear that you can shoot for a little while. It's just super fun. I love the way the characters looked. I loved the Carnival music that would play. It's got really bright graphics. It controlled really, really well. And I just played the shit out of this game and just had an absolute blast with it. And when I booted it up, I played it, a few weeks ago. I was playing it, and I had the kids play it, and they were like, this is fun. Like, this is just kind of a timeless, fun thing,
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
I tried this one out a little bit. I like it. Okay, this is one of the ones that I have physically. Yeah, it's a solid game and a solid choice.
Yeah, is the Space Invaders thing, like, you kind of get what I'm saying, right? Like, it doesn't have that like advancing marching feel, but it's that same kind of shooter gameplay, I guess. Cool. Ish. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll shut up. All right. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add on Carnival. So my first one is actually it's one of the ones that I don't own physically, but I rather enjoyed my time with it digitally, and that is Antarctic Adventure.
Yes.
This is a really fun little game. It currently goes for $17.99 loose, $50.45 complete. So it's a little spicy in terms of ColecoVision games. This was also on the Famicom and I want to say MSX computers. I'm familiar with the Famicom version. The ColecoVision is pretty much the same dang thing. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little game about a penguin. It's almost like a racing game, but you're not really racing. It's like an auto runner, but from behind the character, which is a really interesting thing. Like you don't really see games like that. A time attack,
I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah. And you have to like jump over holes and dodge seals and fish and stuff, and it's just a fun little thing. It wasn't like, riveting to the eyeballs, but I thought it was a really nice. So like I wanted to pick a racing game because there are some really good racing games, but I couldn't. Like I wanted to pick Turbo because Turbo's a really cool game, but it didn't quite. I don't know. It didn't quite gel for me on the emulation that I was playing it through. Like I don't have the wheel. So what's the one that that used the wheel? The Road Avenger, is that the other big racing one? That's I don't know. I know there's a couple of solid racing games. Oh, Pit Stop. That's another.
Pit Stop. Yeah,
Pit Stop was that almost made my list. There were a couple of. This was really actually genuinely difficult for me to tamp down because like I also had considered like I don't want to say them because I don't know what else is on your list, but Pit Stop I definitely considered.
Pit Stop I also considered. That almost made the list because I played a fuck ton of Pit Stop.
But I figured when it came to like something of that variety, that's not specifically racing, but like something of that kind of the way that your character your thing moves around. Antarctic Adventure was just so much more unique because it didn't really come in America outside of this ColecoVision, right? The because it just hit Famicom and we didn't really get much MSX out here. So yeah, this was kind of the only way this came out here in America, and I thought that was it's a neat game. Got a lot of character, and I love penguins. So there you go.
I mean, I can't argue with that. That is, who doesn't fucking love penguins?
I don't know. Batman?
Assholes, maybe? Batman? Yeah, I suppose Batman doesn't. That's fair. Yeah, no.
It's got a good reason.
It is a fun little game. I do enjoy it. I don't know that it would make my top 10, but maybe like top 50. I don't know. I didn't really think that far out. It's not one that I had as a kid. It's one that I played, years and years later.
Right. It was a game I found difficult to put down. It was fun.
That is fair
and kind of addicting.
One game that I just fucking loved. I don't know if it's my favorite game on the system, but it's pretty close. I mean, all 5 of these are like I could say the same thing. But the next game on my list is 1982's Ladybug. This is another arcade port.
I had a feeling that was coming for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this game a bunch of times on this show. It's $10 loose, $20 complete in box. I am relatively pleased, just as an aside, with the relative affordability of collecting for the ColecoVision. I suppose the big problem is getting the actual system itself,
especially in working order.
Yeah, a working system right now.
Problems.
But the games themselves are not crazy expensive.
And there aren't a ton of them. I think there's only like 150 something in the whole library.
Yeah. But so Ladybug is it's a Pac-Man clone, right? It's a maze game. Back then, this came out in 1982. Maze games were kind of ubiquitous for arcade titles. One of the things I really, really just loved about this game, though, when I would play it as a kid, when I was playing it upstairs, this one the kids really liked, is in the maze, right? You never get to go on offense in Ladybug. There's nothing that will allow you to damage the bugs that are coming after you. Right, like Pac-Man, obviously you eat the ghosts, right? You get the power pellets, you eat the ghosts, and what, fucking Casey, Crazy Chase and all that shit. Like, a lot of the games at that time, and one that I'm going to spoilers that I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes here, there was a way to be on offense. Ladybug.
Right, you could turn the tables, but...
Yes, Ladybug, you are entirely running away the entire time. And the way it works is that the bugs are dead smack in the center of the maze. And there's a timer that counts down. The big square outside of the play field is a timer. And as that counts down, each time it gets all the way around the square, another bug is let out into the maze to come after you. And, so you can get up to like 4 bugs, right, that are coming after you. What is really clever, and what I always really enjoyed about this game, is that about half of the maze is made up of like turnstiles, right? Little walls, I guess, that you can manipulate and change the layout of the maze. And that is how you protect yourself from the bugs that are coming after you. You can dash through a turnstile and flip it up the other way, and you block the bug that is coming after you. And it just created these really wonderfully intricate little puzzles to figure out in addition to the maze as you're playing it, right? So I'm 4 years old, I'm 5 years old, and I'm playing through this shit. I'm fuck, this bug. I mean, because I was probably yelling, fuck, when I was 5. If we're being honest, I mean, I was just, the kids were like, yeah, we were just playing it upstairs, and the kids were like, Dad, you're being really aggressive right now. I was like, I know, this game fucking just makes me yell fuck a lot. And I'm sure it was the same when I was little. But I just really love the strategy of it, right? Of like, I've got to bust these walls down, and I've got a couple dots over here that I need to go get to. So, all right, fuck, let me close this path off and make my way through. And I just always found it, just such a wonderfully, charming little game. The music is fine. The sound effects are fine. There's really nothing to write home about there. There are some bonuses that you can collect as you are making your way through the maze that will like give you an extra bug, that sort of thing, or boost some points or whatever. But in general, the act of just moving through and trying to manipulate your way through the maze while also manipulating the maze, I found to be just endlessly enjoyable and something that super duper holds up today.
Yeah, this is a really fun game. It did not make my list, but it was in consideration for my list. It was in the pile. But this is a solid pick, and you make some very excellent points about it. I do love a good maze game, especially when they do. It's funny when you think about the official Pac-Man sequels, like Super Pac-Man and whatnot. Stuff like Casey Munchkin and Ladybug, I think, are far more creative takes on it.
I do honestly, too.
I like this better than even like Miyamoto's take on Pac-Man, which was Devil World, which I also don't like all that much. This is a very strange
Devil World
game,
is fine,
but yeah, it's fine. But Ladybug was pretty special. That's a solid pick.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Well, thank you.
It's not my next pick. It's not on my list.
I like that our lists are different so far.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if we're going to have any crossover, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure
we'll see
how you feel about the rest of my picks.
All right, well, let's see.
Well, I can already tell this one isn't on your list because it's alphabetically earlier. The next pick on my list is Gorf.
Yeah,
I want to talk about a solid arcade translation. So my first... I know Gorf from Atari 2600.
Right.
Then I played the arcade version of Gorf, which was like, oh, there's a lot more to this game than the Atari 2600 version of Gorf. And then this week I played the ColecoVision version, was like, oh, this is really good. This is much better than the 2600 version of Gorf. And Gorf on 2600 is pretty darn good, too. Let's see, what's the pricing on this? Gorf goes for $9.34 loose and $25.95 complete in box. So if you've never played Gorf before, it's like it's got 4 different flavored things. I took notes. There's 4 different kinds of stages in the ColecoVision version. There's Astro Battle, which is basically Space Invaders. But after you do that, you move on to Laser Attack, which is like they're moving all over the screen and they can shoot these nasty lasers down at you. Then there's Space Warp, which reminds me a little bit of Gyrus, but doesn't play quite like Gyrus. It's like there's a black hole looking effect going on, and things are kind of moving around in a more circular pattern with gravity and whatnot. And then you take on the flagship. That's it. And it's just a big ship, and you got to hit it in the right spot, which is pretty easy the first couple of rounds, but it gets progressively harder to deal with the flagship. And this is a very, very fun game. It's a really cool take on the Space Invaders formula. Even if I think the original arcade one don't know if it ever got in trouble for it, but it's got some visuals that are like borderline copyright infringement. Space Invaders, which is pretty fun. But it all works. It's a really, really well done game, and this ColecoVision version was. I played a good number of rounds on it because it was just fun to play. Wow, this really does work well. This is excellent.
What I thought was so funny is that a couple of weeks ago, we had talked about Gorf on the 2600, and I was like, fuck, why do I know that? And I looked it up, and I was looking at the 2600 version, and I was like, fuck, I don't recognize that at all, because this is the one I played.
Yeah,
and then once I was
like the arcade one,
I was like, oh, fuck, it's the Coleco one. I remember as a kid being very into the way the title looked on the cartridge. That. I don't know why that particular font, and just something about that title, and I guess the absurdity of the name, right? Like, Gorf is such a weird fucking name.
The other thing about the Space Invaders part is you can move up and down. So there's like this kind of, there's like a dome shield, and you can actually move up and down a little bit in this one, which is pretty neato.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No. It's a wonderful game. I do absolutely love Gorf, and it almost made my list. But I just
the arcade one. I'm looking at a playthrough comparison video. The third stage in the arcade is Galaxians, which is just a ripoff of Galaxian. This game is absolutely shameless in this department. Space work.
It was the Wild West. Nothing mattered.
Pretty much the same. Yeah. That's wild, but it's still pretty darn cool, and the ColecoVision version is really, really quite nice. But now I'm looking at the 2600 version, which has the Space Invaders type level. It has the laser level. You know, it actually does have the black hole level too, which, God, it looks nothing like it. No wonder I don't recognize it, because it just doesn't. Oh, it doesn't have the mothership, or sorry, the flagship. That's what's missing. I knew it only had 3 stages. Huh. That's too funny. It also came out on the BBC Micro and the VIC-20 and Atari 800. Oh, the Atari 800 version is pretty nice looking. That's not bad. Then the Atari 5200, and there's the ColecoVision one, which is, it's just really solid. That's a very good version. What else we got? Commodore 64. Wow, the Commodore 64 version is friggin' weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, Gorf. What does Gorf stand for? Gorf stands for something. It's like,
does it?
Galactic something.
Galactic Organization of Rad Fuckers. It's probably not it. I doubt that's what they went with.
Gorf stands for... No, not GIF. I want, what does Gorf stand for? Don't you correct me.
How
Galactic
dare you?
Orbiting Robot Force.
Oh,
there it is.
Nice. Do you see that, though? Your computer was trying to gaslight you, and I don't appreciate that.
Son of a whore.
That's right. Fucking gaslighting son of a bitch. Anyway, next on my list is another maze game, because as we do these old systems, I realize I really fucking like maze games, apparently. One of, again, just my absolute favorite games on the system, and that would be also 1982's Mousetrap. Mousetrap is available about $10 loose, $23 complete in box. And is Mousetrap on your list?
No, sir. Almost made it, but it's another really good one.
So Mousetrap is the whole arcade port, right? And I've never played the arcade version of Mousetrap or Ladybug. I only know the Coleco versions. In Mousetrap, you are a mouse, and you are trying to go through this maze to eat cheese, as a mouse is wont to do. There is no escape in this maze, unlike Pac-Man, where you can kind of go through the sides to get away from your pursuer. this is just a solid maze. And unlike Ladybug, this does not have walls that you can just bump into to change. What it does have is red, yellow, and blue pieces of wall. That there was a little insert that you would slide down into the keypad, and as you were playing, if you hit that button, it would change the orientation of that particular colored piece, right? So you would move through and you would try to trap the cat so you could get out of the way and, move off and get the other, the other pieces of cheese or the other bonuses that were scattered around the map as well. Because, as makes sense, right, one of the things that's scattered around the map are dog bones. And as you collect dog bones, there is also a button that you can press. I believe it was the center button, but it is the dog button. And you, as a mouse, transform into a dog, and then you can go eat some cats, and they bounce away, and kind of like the eating the ghosts in Pac-Man. And it's just again a wonderful little maze game. It looks great. The colors are really, really bright. I always thought the mazes were really clever in this one, in the way that you could manipulate the different pieces. Because what's interesting about Ladybug, right, is that you have to move the Ladybug into the wall in order to move the pieces around, right? In Mousetrap, you hit the button and that piece of the wall changes, so you don't have to be like right next to it. You can manipulate it as you're moving throughout the map, and it just again adds an interesting layer of strategy to a relatively simple idea. Just an absolutely wonderful game, though. Have so much fun with this every single time I play it. And I really liked I can remember the colors on and this is a weird thing to remember, right? But I just remember the colors on the insert pad being the brightest versions of those colors that I had ever seen, right? Like the blue and the yellow. And the dog that was on there, and the green, and all the different colors that would be on that mousetrap insert. I just remember them being this incredibly vivid, bright thing, because I was 4, but to me it was just the coolest thing I had ever seen.
Yeah, it is a very cool game for sure. It got edged out on my list just because there were other games I liked more. But yeah, it was a very worthy addition. I concur with everything you said.
I'm looking at the colors of the insert right now, and yeah, like those fucking I absolutely love it. Like, I would get that fucking dog face tattooed. Like, that's how much I love this. I just think it's such a wonderful, wonderful game. I would be curious to play the arcade version. I wonder how much I would like it, because my nostalgia is for this one,
Difficult to say. Yeah. I know that the podcast chat is talking about the Artemis live stream, I think.
Oh, okay.
This is pretty cool. It's coming back to Earth.
They should shut the fuck up, and they still have a few seconds to get some Coleco thoughts in here. We did get a decent amount, but like, who cares? They're astronauts. They didn't even land. They flew around it. Okay.
The chutes are out. There it goes. This is actually pretty fun.
It is
the
really
Phillies
exciting.
Game is on now too, but
it's very cool. It's tainted, but it's very cool. God, this beer, anyways, whatever this is, it's not getting better as I drink it. I don't know. Something wrong with this,
quote
Kris.
unquote beer. So why is it tainted? Or we should have that conversation later. We should talk.
Yeah,
about
that's not a podcast conversation. We got to stay in our lane, bud. Come on.
That we do. Got to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
Oh boy. What a fun day that was.
That was for some of you. That's just a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you got next?
Joke for funny folks. Okay, so my next one is actually a game that I didn't really know anything about, but I've owned it forever. And I kind of assumed that it was one thing based on the name and was completely incorrect. And it's actually a really freaking fun game. And that would be the joy and splendor. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to our recording here. There we go. Go back. Come on, Discord. There we go. Jumpman Jr. This game is so fun.
It is.
This game was an absolute blast. So I thought, just based on the name, I thought this was going to be a Donkey Kong ripoff, right? Because, Mario was Jumpman in the original Donkey Kong. I figured somebody threw together their own Donkey Kong clone. This is nothing like Donkey Kong.
No.
So you're this, stick figure, and you got to jump around collecting doodads. But when you collect the doodads, things happen. So, in the first stage, it's pretty straightforward, right? There's a doodad, and there's, a little, I don't know, bullet or rock or something that comes into the side of the screen, and then it'll home at you. But, you get one of the doodads, and a platform disappears, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That took me a minute to get used to. Second stage, things catch on fire. As soon as you collect a doodad, flames burst in front of you. It's like, oh, crap. So that one actually took me a little while. I think I made it up to stage 4. Was as far as I got when I was playing it, but I played a bunch of it because it's really fun. When you die, your little stick figure, it doesn't look like it's got very impressive visuals at first, but as you go, it has a lot of personality. And when you die, your character spins around and then falls all the way to the ground, bounces off every platform on the way, which is actually cool because you can collect doodads while you're dying. Whenever you die, if you fall into one of the doodads, you get it so that you don't have to get that on your next round, which is pretty darn cool. This game was
It's nice and forgiving that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got at least it's forgiving in some way because it's pretty dang hard in others.
It is.
This is not an easy game, but it was a blast to play, and it's not really quite like anything I had played. I mean, I guess it's not entirely dissimilar to some platformers hard platformers like Spelunker or Montezuma's Revenge, except it's just such a different setting, It's a very different, almost remind me of N+, right? I got all wonky again.
That's kind of a weird pull, but I
never thought of that until just now, but it kind of N+ kind of feels like an evolution of this in a sort of way. This is a really solid game. I really, really like this one. Because it surprised me, and it really stuck with me through my time, and thus it made my list. Because there's not a whole lot like it. There's definitely nothing like this on Atari. There was, as far as I know, there was nothing like this on Atari or Coleco. Sorry, Jumpman Jr. is, where are my stats here? Jumpman Jr. goes for $20 loose. 58 complete. So this is actually a pretty spicy one. This is a spicy meatball by ColecoVision standards. I only have a loose cart, but
it was a later release, right? That came out in 84, right? So towards the end of the system's life.
Yeah, this was an 83 game. Oh, I don't know when it came out ColecoVision specifically. Let me see. It came out 84 in ColecoVision. 83 hit Atari 8-bit Commodore. This is an Epix joint, which is pretty neat.
Epix made some fun shit, man.
They did. It came out, on Atari 8-bit, Commodore 64, and ColecoVision. So that was it. So this was computers, and this was the only home console version. So there's nothing quite like this on any of the platforms that I owned as a kid. So really, I hadn't played much like it. I thought that was a really cool thing.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm sorry my camera keeps going fading out. I really don't know what's going on with my camera. So I'm sorry to the feed. If anyone's watching the video version, my camera for some reason just goes completely out of focus and then makes a noise and comes back. I don't know. I don't know how to stop it.
It's all good.
Anyway, what's next, sir?
Next on my list, the penultimate game, because that makes it sound dramatic and impressive, is maybe the only one, or maybe you might have both of these on your list, or you might not. But it would be 1983's Pepper 2. Pepper 2 goes for...
That's another one that almost made my list.
Oh, man, I thought for sure this would be on your list. It goes for $9 loose, $28 complete in box. This is a maze adjace game, right? So the whole point of this game is for you to move your character around the maze screen and to box up or zip up different areas of the maze, right? And some of them are shaped like a box, and some are rectangles, and some are kind of funky shapes, right? And as you move your character around all four of these sides, or five of the sides, depending on the shapes. I don't think there's any six-sided ones. I don't think it worked that way. It fills it in and it turns it a different color, and there's a bunch of like bright flashing colors, and it's fun. There are also like items inside there, like some of them are a pitchfork, and if you grab the pitchfork, you can like attack the enemies that are there. Trying to chase you. What makes Pepper 2 so cool, one is that there is no Pepper 1, right? Like, this is just Pepper 2. Pepper 1 is not a game that exists. I think I read somewhere where it like has something to do with like your personalities or some shit like that. Whatever. I quite like the idea that they were like, fuck it, let's make it Pepper 2 so that people will think that it's a sequel to a successful thing and they'll buy it. Like that, I like that kind of headcanon for it. But what's really, really cool about Pepper 2 is that there are 4 mazes that you have to complete. And all 4 of those mazes are available at the beginning of the game, right? So when you turn it on, you can shoot straight up to the next maze, only zipping up the one side as you are going up. So there's a ton of strategy in this game, and there's exit points on the 4 sides of the screen. So you can make your way around to the different mazes, which I just always thought was super, super fun and super cool, right? If you imagine playing Miss Pac-Man with all of the mazes available, if you go through the little alleyway on the right, and now you're into the second maze, how cool would that be, and how interesting in that mechanic, right? And that's what Pepper 2 is. And it's got just the craziest fucking colors happen on this screen. This is one of the games that I would argue, and I know you said it's not on your list, I would argue that Pepper 2 is one of the like essential games that it's one of those games that almost reason I say that, this is one of those games that fucking everybody has on their list. Like, you will find some people that are like, Mousetrap's great, Ladybug sucks. Ladybug's great, Mousetrap sucks. Jumpman Jr. is awesome, fuck Donkey Kong, whatever. Most YouTube videos and lists and whatever you see will say Pepper 2 is just one of those things that you just have to try.
Yeah, I mean, it was very cool. I guess I just didn't quite get it.
I think it's one of those ones you got to spend a little bit of time with, and once you start like making your way through the mazes and you really start like getting on a roll, it's really fucking fun, man.
Yeah, like it's got aspects of like quicks to it, because it takes the whole like territory thing in a very interesting way. I don't know why this one didn't really click with me when I was playing it, but maybe I should give it another shot.
Honestly surprising to me. Like, Pepper 2 feels like a Kris-esque game, to me. I don't know. I'm sad. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I feel like I need to revisit this one, because I did try it, because this is another one that I have the physical cart of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get anywhere with it. I remember messing around with it for a minute and being like, I don't know that I understand what I'm supposed to do here. So I think I just gave up. I think this was probably a victim of timing on my part, because it was a weird, stressful week. And I think that's exactly it. It's not fair. I did not give it its fair shake, and I believe
that's fair.
That my list is the worst is the worse for it. However, I do still really like the other games on my list, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. All right. What is your second to last?
My penultimate game is one that surprised me because I never really got into this game, but for some reason it clicked with me here, and that would be Mr. Do.
Really?
Yes, indeed. Mr.
That
Do.
shocks the shit out of me.
I don't know what it was about this version that finally made Mr. Do click with me, but you're a little clown dude, and you run. It's very Dig Dug, and I like Dig Dug a lot. But you've got this little bouncy ball you can throw around. You can only throw one of them, and you got to wait till the ball comes back in order to throw another one. You got to like collect. I think they're vegetables or something. Sorry,
apples, cherries.
Apples, they make really neat noises when you collect. Like you get a bonus of them if you collect like 8 at a time. And I just kind of found myself getting into a really nice groove with this one pretty quickly. Yeah. And it just stuck with me. I was like, oh, you know what? Huh. This is pretty cool. And I almost picked the other one, Mr. Do's Castle. Yeah. I don't have that one. Mr. Do is $12.49 loose, $37.50 complete. I think Mr. Do's Castle is considerably more expensive. It's neat, but I think I really liked the simplicity of this one a bit better. I liked the music in Mr. Do's Castle pretty well. I've never really understood the draw of Mr. Do, to be perfectly honest with you. And
it has never, ever clicked with me. That's why I say I'm so surprised when you picked it. Yeah. This was the first time this game ever really clicked with me. And I don't know, maybe it's just recency bias because I played it towards the end of my run and I rather enjoyed myself. But I really had a good time with it, and I thought it was an excellent port. Like, as far as making Mr. Do work on a home console, because I think was there a 2600 version? Let's see. Mr. Do comparison. There's got to be one of those comparison videos out there that shows all the... All right, let's see. Retromania's got a... Oh, wait, no. This gaming history source, let's compares. I like these ones. Mr. Do, let's compare. So, I've messed around with like the arcade version before. Not in arcades, but I've played around with it before. Is this the 2600? Mm-hmm. What's this one? Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, the 2600 version is... Ooh. That's a look. Yeah. The Coleco one just looked real nice. It sounds real nice. As far as these kinds of things go. I don't know what to tell you. I was just impressed by it. I thought it was really fun. That's awesome. I love that. Mr. Do's Castle is a neat game too. Like, Mr. Do's Castle is weird. And like, there's a bunch of different Mr. Do games, and they're all so different from one another. I don't understand the draw of this character. It's so bizarre. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It just really struck a chord with me, and I finally understood. Okay, this is why people like this game. This is what it has to offer, and that was I guess just the fact that it finally clicked with me really put it into perspective. But yeah, like, just looking at the comparisons on this one, like, you can get the cherries in groups of 8. You can drop these apples down just like the boulders in Dig Dug. And you can. There's also this whole like extra bonus thing where you can spell out the letters extra, and I forget, you have to like collect a thing in the middle of the stage, and it makes the letter like start walking around, and then you go and collect those up at the top, and that's as they're walking around. So I think you're supposed to be like mowing your lawn. I think that's what is that doing what it is? This game. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Like, you're cutting grass. It makes no sense. Like, no kind of sense spatially whatsoever. Speaking. Yeah. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense spatially speaking. I remember playing the Super Nintendo version of this because this was a really rare and expensive Super Nintendo game, and I remember getting it in at our store because I think it's pretty uncommon. I remember getting it into the store and be like, "What the heck is Mr. Do?" and playing it and being like, what in the world is this? Like, why is this a Super Nintendo game? Yeah. It is still a very confusing
like Super Nintendo game. This was a very strange game to port to Super Nintendo.
It is.
But yeah, Mr. Do made my list.
Wild. I am so surprised that neither of us put Frogger on our list as well. Did you play the ColecoVision?
It's a very good version of Frogger.
It's a
very good version of Frogger.
Yeah.
But I love the Atari 2600 Frogger for all of its faults. That's my Frogger. Fair. And playing this one is like, well, this is good, but if I'm going to play a really good version of Frogger, I'll play the arcade version.
Because this was my Frogger as well. And this was my Burger Time when I was a kid. And I wanted to put Burger Time.
That was another good one. This was a solid port of Burger Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it was good, but it wasn't good enough. I'm so curious what your last one is going to be, and then I want to talk about some of the ones that didn't make the list because there were some interesting games. I wanted to mention Dragonfire. Dragonfire is a really neat game.
Dragonfire is really cool.
I like the concept of it.
Yeah. I was never any good at it.
Yeah, same. And I think that might have been what left it off my list was just how not great at it I was.
Well, before you name any others,
hear your last one.
The last game on my list is a game that I just spent a ridiculous amount of time with as a kid because it really took me a while to figure out what the fuck I was doing. Because I had never played a game in that particular perspective before, but once I did, and it clicked, Zaxxon, 1982 Zaxxon by Sega, really became something that I spent just a silly amount of time with. Zaxxon loose cart, $9, complete and package, $27. This is probably the first... this game felt like something different. This felt advanced to me when I was a little kid because you had this weird isometric perspective and you had to manipulate your ship in a space that I wasn't used to, but you also could raise or lower the level of your ship relative to the ground. And it really took me a while to really get the hang of it and pay attention to where the shadow of my ship was and to read the meter on the left hand side of the screen. It's just HL, right, high, low, pretty simple. But once I started to figure it out, I fell in love with this game. It was such a cool looking game, such a cool sounding game. I thought it controlled really, really well. I just thought it was just incredible. And I know one of the parts of this game that that's kind of divisive for people is the open sections, right? Because the crux of Zaxxon, most of it, right, is almost like an obstacle course, for lack of a better word, right? There's, barrels and shit that you got to shoot and force fields you got to fly over and stuff you got to maneuver your ship around and all these things. And, there's not a ton of enemies until you get to the big open section. Now suddenly there's ships that I have to shoot down. And that part is a little bit divisive to people, right? Of they don't like the ship sections. This other part was so good. What I always thought was cool about it, and the way that I took it, was that you were a fighter pilot, kind of earning your way to battle somebody, right? You had to get through the gauntlet first before you could then go fight somebody. So I had never minded that part of it. Just always thought it was just so cool. Love the visuals of this game. Love the sound of this game. Love just absolutely everything about it. I think Zaxxon is fucking brilliant. This is again, an arcade port, right? This is one that I have played in the arcade, and I do actually prefer the ColecoVision version. I just like it better, right? I admit that the arcade looks better and all those, all of the things that the arcade is better at, I still like the ColecoVision version, right? The ColecoVision version. Whereas certain games like Defender, I think the best way to play Defender is the arcade Defender, right? I don't think any home version of Defender really ever nailed the feel of Defender, right? Certain games, fucking Zaxxon, man. I prefer this version. Absolutely adore it. Absolutely love this game.
I absolutely respect your pick. I have always thought Zaxxon to be far more interesting than it is fun. I could never really get the hang of this game. I do think it's a very impressive ColecoVision port. I feel like I had problems with visualization in this one. Like, I've just never been able to get the hang of it, and I've never really thought it was all that fun. I understand how other people find the fun in it. I get that, but it's just never really been for me. But I respect that pick.
Yeah, see, like, and I'm about to say some wild shit here, but like, I look at this and like, I don't want I like this better than I like Star Fox, right? Like, and they occupy a similar space in my mind because of the way the ships look and all of that stuff. I like this better. Like, this to me is more what I want, right? Like, and I know that's some wild shit.
That's nuts to me.
I know.
That's absolutely wild.
But that's,
I can't get behind that one.
No, I know. I just always thought it was such a cool name, too. Right? It just feels cool. Like Zaxxon. Like, it's just fucking great.
Did you ever play the 32X Zaxxon?
No. Should
Zaxxon Mother Base 2000 for 32X is really cool.
Is it? All right. I will add that to the Shmemulation cool machine.
Yeah, give that one a go. That's a pretty cool modern take on Zaxxon. I like that one.
I will have to check.
One of the handful of 32X games that I say is worth playing.
And when you say handful, they're relatively big games, so you can't actually fit that many.
Yeah, they stack well.
All right, well, then for our completely different lists, what do you got?
Yeah, completely different list. So I will first say Smurfs.
What will you say? I lost you completely.
I'll say it again. I am very glad that you did not pick Smurfs. Neither one of us picked Smurfs. Because Smurfs is one of those games that everyone talks about as this ColecoVision classic. It's a very well-known and well-loved ColecoVision game, and I just don't think it's any fun. It is an extremely basic platformer that looks very good. It animates extremely well. It looks the part. It's very good there, but I just don't think it's very fun. It's a very, very simplistic platformer, and I really tried to love it. I tried to like see the fun in it, and it's like, okay, this looks really good, but this isn't Super Mario Brothers. This isn't even
it's not even
Pac-Land. Yeah, it's just not. Oh, my Switch turned off. So I had the Switch going on back there playing Pilo Wings, and it just kind of shut off. I should probably keep a Joy-Con over here just to keep it running, but whatever. It'll be a blank screen
like
for
Smurfs.
the rest of this segment.
I think the coolest thing about Smurfs is the way it looks.
It looks very good. I imagine great. Being a kid, being a big Smurfs fan, being like, "Oh yeah, holy Smurf!" This is
holy Smurf! Oh, Smurf the Smurf out of that Smurf.
Oh boy, it's getting real Smurfy in here.
Real quick, I'll go up and grab some blue food coloring.
My last game. Space Panic. This game is freaking great. Space Panic is great.
Wow.
I know a lot of folks like Space Fury, and I liked Space Fury. Like Smurfs, I tried. Mousetrap, Pepper 2, Pit Stop, Space Fury, Dragonfire, Ladybug, Tutankhamun, Tarzan were all things that I considered. This game is great. So it's got like a touch of Lode Runner in it, right? You're in these little like maze Donkey Kong-esque stages. And what you do is these little alien guys are coming at you, and you got to dig a hole underneath them so they fall in the hole, and then you dig the hole back on top of them so that they fall down a level, and that's how you defeat the enemy guys. And if you leave them in the hole and they get up and chase after you, they turn colors. And like there's like a green one and then a purple one. And like the green one's the only, in order to kill them, you have to make them fall 2 stories, which is actually quite difficult to line up the holes like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like interesting, not a lot of interesting, what's the word I'm looking for, strategy to it, but there is some strategy to the game as far as like, making sure you have an escape route, because these things can surround you relatively easily. But I had a blast with this game, and I also had not played this anywhere before. This is $9.31 loose, $19.10 complete, and I forget what else this was released on, but I don't think it was much else. This is actually one of the closest things on either of our lists to an actual... so this is an arcade game that was ported to Casio PV1000 and ColecoVision.
Casio, huh?
I had never heard of the arcade version of this before. I imagine it works pretty well. Be your little stick figure dude, and I just had a ball with it. Like it's like Load Runner, but not quite. And you're doing this while you have to survive oxygen. Like, and if you die, it's really fucking gruesome. If like you die of loss of oxygen, it's like it's pretty nasty. Like, this is a very, very weird and cool game. This one just really spoke to me.
That is a wild ass choice. I cannot. Wow, I do not like that game very much at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's so slow. Yeah, it's so like it's weirdly slow. I don't know. I get what you're saying. It just has never really clicked with me. That's a fucking bold ass choice, though. I love that that's your choice. I love how different our lists were.
Yeah, we didn't have any crossover. That's pretty cool.
Any crossover. And like mine feels, almost like the basic, very beige version of like best Coleco games. But I do believe these to be the very, very best. My nostalgia for this is so strong. So I obviously love this system. How are you feeling about it after spending some time with it this week? Like, is this something like the Intellivision where you feel like I might actually, or not the Intellivision, the fucking Odyssey, because fuck the Intellivision, where I might actually go back and check out some more of this? Or are you like, I've got my fill, I'm good?
I do feel like I've kind of got my fill. I'm more or less good, but also I think there's something here. This is not my favorite kind of game system, right? There's a certain like Technicolor aspect to it. Like everything's just kind of odd and off. So
I get that.
While I didn't dislike it, I did enjoy this more than I liked the Intellivision. That Intellivision controller was just not great.
No.
But honestly speaking, if I'm going to be spending a bunch of time with arcade games, I'm going to wind up playing the arcade versions now because they're so much more accessible and they're generally better. But looking at this from a time capsule perspective of like when these came out, it's very, very impressive. There's really, really good stuff here. We also have a lot of feedback.
We did get a ton of feedback. Before we jump into that, I did just want to mention a couple that really almost made my list, that I really wanted to throw on there. Jungle Hunt was one of them. I really, really liked Jungle Hunt.
This was a good version of Jungle Hunt. I love the 2600 version of Jungle Hunt. Personally, I still prefer that. I feel like it controls better. Like the 20, that actually really encapsulates what I was talking about with the kind of clunky nature of the way some of this stuff feels.
Yeah.
Is that while the 2600 version looks chunkier and this looks closer to the arcade version, I feel the 2600 version of Jungle Hunt plays smoother.
It's a little smoother. Yeah. And I think you might be right on that. One of the other ones that I really, really, really loved, I just couldn't take anything off of my list, was Popeye. I love this Coleco Popeye. I love that arcade game. I do think the arcade game is better. unlike Zaxxon, I do like the arcade better. But I think this is just a wonderful version of Popeye, and played the shit out of that when I was a kid too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So,
I actually have more than just what you've got there.
Okay.
So we did get Discord stuff, but I also posted this up on all of our social medias.
Oh, shit.
Asking people what their favorite ColecoVision games were, and we got a decent amount of feedback. So let's start with, we've got, I'm just going to run through all the social stuff, and then we'll move on to the Discord. So over on Threads, we have Industrial Retro Gamer said Choplifter, Beam Rider, Hero, Montezuma's Revenge, and Miner 2049er.
Fuck,
that's an interesting lineup of games there. Yeah, again, completely different from us. But I did play Montezuma's Revenge. We played Montezuma's Return for my pick on the Super Series, which was pretty cool. And I do think Return is a better game than Revenge. But yeah, it was pretty solid on ColecoVision. Miner 2049er is also a really good game. That's really a really good set of picks right there.
Nice.
Let's see. Over on Facebook, we got a handful of comments. Stephen Cray says DK, Pepper 2, Turbo, Spy Hunter, and Slither. I didn't try Slither, but I did try Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter was pretty solid on
Spy Hunter's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad. Michael J. Kanzler, also on Facebook, says Venture, Smurf, Cosmic Avenger, Zaxxon, and Turbo. Cosmic Avenger, what was that one? I feel like that one came up in my list too, but I didn't write it down.
It's a side-scrolling shooter. You're shooting shit in the air and also blowing up things on the ground. It's very brightly colored. I like it. I like it quite a bit.
Let's see. Philip Desjardins said the expansion module was one of the best things, but the video games started to get interesting around the beginning of Sega Genesis. Okay, so that person also wrote that in French. That was just the Facebook translation. Mark Rosatis says the SGM made this gem better than the NES. What is the SGM? Do you know what that refers to?
I don't, actually. Do I?
ColecoVision SGM. What is... Oh, the Super Game Module.
Oh, right. Never had it.
I didn't mess around with any Super Game Module stuff. Was that a... When did the Super Game Module happen? Was that an old thing? I thought the Super Game Module was relatively new. Yeah, I think that might be a newer project. Like, I don't think the Super Game Module was out back in the old days.
No, it wasn't.
Anyways,
as far as I know, it was one of the things that was going to come out. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look more into that.
Super Game Module. What are you? I can't find any solid information on it, just like games that exist for it. But anyway, moving right along here, we've got Tim Brown, who says Burger Time, Spy Hunter, Donkey Kong, Zaxxon, and Smurfs Rescue. See, people love that Smurfs game.
It's a fun game.
Chris Willis says, the ones you play with the system expander. I'm kidding. I make joke. Put away the pitchforks. I have 2 ColecoVisions. I really cannot point a finger to a favorite. Venture is my go-to. Venture's a good call.
I do fucking love Venture, too. I love that big, stupid smiley face holding the bow. It's so weird. And what's the Frenzy is another good one. Frenzy's good.
Oh, look at that. That's the next one here. Joe Keel says Frenzy, Destructor, Donkey Kong Jr., Burger Time, and Mousetrap. I will. So Frenzy's really fun. Frenzy actually is another one that I really considered because I love Berserk. Donkey Kong Jr. I don't like it's a very good version of Donkey Kong Jr., but I don't like Donkey Kong Jr. all that much.
I was going to say you're not a Donkey Kong Junior guy. I like it quite a bit. I think it's very fun.
I think it's a good time. I'm glad I bought the arcade version on Switch. I like it. Just I don't think it's nearly as good as Donkey Kong. And then Julio Flores chimed in with none. Come on, Julio.
Thanks, Julio.
Over on Twitter, we have at Tesseract Unfold some of my personal faves: Rock and Rope, Turbo, Fortune Builder, Time Pilot, and Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom. Rock and Rope? Did that come out on ColecoVision?
Mm-hmm.
Am I thinking of the same game?
Rock and Rope is...
Rock and Rope. It was a Konami game. Yeah, that's Rock and Rope. Did this come out on Coleco? Holy cats, this did come out on ColecoVision. I had no idea.
I think it's an expensive
Rock and Rope's
too,
a weird little game that there's a Konami NES game that's like real similar to it, but not actually a sequel to it. It's very, very strange. You know what I think it is? I'm having internet problems. I wonder if that's what's causing my video to go in and out. But anyways,
maybe.
Those are some good picks. Anyway, also on Twitter, 2 Cats Yelling says, my friend had a ColecoVision, and every time I went to his house, I'd play Illusions. I remember Donkey Kong on that console being really good, too. I'm unfamiliar with Illusions.
I'm unfamiliar with that one, too.
What the... Whoa. This is weird. All right, so he included a link to a video of the game being played. And it's called Weird Video Games Illusions. It's like an MC Escher thing. So it's like an MC Escher style maze, and there's blobs. What is this? I've never heard of this before.
I don't know. Oh shit! Oh no, I do know this game. Fuck, never mind. I know this game. These little fucking blobby dudes. Yeah, this shit's fucking wild. I never understood what I was supposed to do, so I just went, okay, I don't get it. I'm going to play something else.
That's weird. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Jonathan Lung of VGMmaps.com wrote Jumpman Jr., Donkey Kong Jr., Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom, Donkey Kong, then either Frontline or Venture for the 5th, even if Venture scared me as a kid. LOL. Though I enjoyed all these are all the games I had growing up, plus plenty of time. That's a wonderful sentiment. And also, yay for VGMmaps.com. That's a cool site. I've used it before. Thank you for commenting, Jonathan Lung. Grumpy Driver says Donkey Kong Jr., Pepper 2, Popeye, Zaxxon, and Spy Hunter. Glass BJJ says Jumpman Jr., hell yeah. Venture, Defender, Donkey Kong Jr., and Mousetrap.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Steiner Jr. says Donkey Kong, War Games, Gorf, Popeye, and Smurf. Daniel Alvarez says The House of the Dead Zero, Call of Duty Black Ops Origin, Madden 82.
Madden 82 is very good. Very
and the
good.
Elder Scrolls Beginning. Well done, Daniel Alvarez.
That fucking War Games. I had that War Games game when I was a kid, and I was like, I don't fucking get this. Like, somebody bought this because it was a movie, and you thought, here you go, we'll get you the movie game. Like, no, that was not what to give a 5-year-old.
Yeah, no, that didn't make any sense to me at all.
Mm-mm.
We got Mario Mendez says Zaxxon, and then just Zaxxon. That was it. So I guess 5 Zaxxons.
5
And then probable Cecil Helton said hard call to just select 5. Donkey Kong, Zaxxon, Venture, Gorf, and Jungle Hunt. That's a solid list there. I like that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we got from our regular social media channels. Thanks everybody for chiming in. And now let's move on to the Discord chat, where things are bound to get a lot wordier.
They are. I will take over a little bit so you can save some breath.
Save some breath. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will start with Cerebral IP, or Cerebral P. Sorry, not IP. Cerebral P says attached is a chart of my picks for ColecoVision based off my collection. Though I did just acquire. Are we calling these a Pi Colecto or Coleco? How do we say this? Do you know this, Kris? I assume it's Pi Coleco. Flashcart? I don't know.
I'm trying to find this list here. Let's see. That's Rumbleman's talking about the TI-99.
Yeah. This is in the regular SAG chat. I think it's Pi Coleco. Anyway, it's a flashcard.
The regular SAG chat. Okay.
Yeah. Runner-up so far have been Cubert Cubes. Sorry, what?
I didn't see this one. No.
Oh, yeah. Cuber Cubes, Pac-Man, and Antarctic Adventure. Star Wars Arcade has been a pleasure. Pitfall 2 can kiss my ass. And I almost broke my controller in a fit of rage, but fuck, man, I love Pepper 2. And I love this description. What a glorious cunt of a game. Yes. Fuck yeah. I mean, that should have been on the box, right? Like, Pepper 2, what a glorious cunt of a game. ColecoVision, and I think this is a really accurate way to put it, right? ColecoVision made some of the best, though not necessarily accurate, arcade ports of the 80s. I have 2 copies of Burger Time and Popeye for a damn good reason. What a peach. He then goes on, or they then go on, I don't want to assume, to list out their top 5 with, we've got Burger Time, Popeye, Donkey Kong, Pit Stop, and Pepper 2, with Pepper 2 getting the highest rank. I apologize for not reading off the entire thing, because we do have quite a bit of feedback to get through, and I don't want to just read the entire thing. So let me go back to the start here. So what I can see, looks like Chronodin, leading this off. I've never played ColecoVision, and I don't think I would have recognized it if I ran one over with my cart. Please don't. There's not many of them, and they're not working. Please think of the children, Chronodin. So here's to discovering a system I know nothing about. Disclaimer, I played these on my analog Pocket, so I don't have the experience of the official controller, for better or worse. Antarctic Adventure, this one's actually really impressive. Colors are great, animates well. Control a penguin running like a maniac across Antarctica. Took me a bit to realize I could change speed. Legitimately fun game. Burger Time, graphically not the strongest. There is a lot of flicker with Burger Time, right? But pretty capable version. Certainly retains the fun of the game. Cosmic Avenger, a wholly colorful. A shoot 'em up that's pretty impressive for 82. The color scheme of the first levels feels like I'm carpet bombing a circus. That does in fact feel a very accurate description. Zaxxon, I've never played the game, but always heard about it. This isometric flying game is pretty impressive. Donkey Kong, great looking and very functional version of this game. Animates quickly as a standout. Spy Hunter, now this one works pretty well. I mean, it's Spy Hunter. Yeah, it's Spy Hunter. Do you like Spy Hunter? This is a good version of Spy Hunter. There's a lot more than 5, Cronin. I'm just saying, like, you failed this assignment. I'm going to keep saying them because I love you, but Bump and Jump, just wanted to mention, disappointing because if you've played the NES version first, coming to this one was just difficult.
Same.
Smurf Rescue and Gargamel's Castle. Weird one, good-looking graphics. The Smurf walking animation is pretty impressive. Controls are super wonky. And then he describes the jumping. Yes, the jumping is wonky as fuck. Overall, my favorite game here was Antarctic Adventure. He then apologizes for listing 6 games, which you really should. We're obviously sticklers for the rules here, and this is a very serious topic that we are discussing. RC Mets, then, I agree with Chronodin on Burger Time and Donkey Kong being great on the system.
Hold up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You missed RC Mets before. He has a whole list from before.
Fuck. I apologize.
Before Chronodin. I'll do it. I'm on it.
Okay.
I can try. I can fly. I'm a pilot.
Do it.
RC Mets says ColecoVision 1, Bump and Jump. This is a very fun game, but unfortunately you have to have the steering wheel to play. If you do have it, recommend playing it. 2, Smurf Rescue from Gargamel's Castle. While there is nothing amazing about the game, if you grew up in the 80s, the Smurfs were awesome, and to play a game where you rescue Smurfette from Gargamel, it's a win. Alright, that's fair. 3, Antarctic Adventures. You're a penguin who races through the Antarctic. Need I say more? No, you do not. Number 4, Frenzy, the sequel to Berserk that was only released on Coleco as far as I know. I think you might be right. Like Berserk, you blow up robots. Unlike Berserk, you can shoot and destroy some of the walls, but not all. And they are not electrified to kill you. Very fun and tough game that I wish would have come out on more platforms. 5. A ColecoVision top 5 without Pepper 2 is not a top game list. I take it back. I don't know what I'm moving off my list, but I need to give Pepper 2 another shot. Pepper 2 is a game where you zip up squares while avoiding enemies. There are a total of 4 mazes per level that you have to finish while avoiding enemies. After a few levels, the maze becomes invisible and it gets difficult, but the game itself is so much fun to play. Best part is there was never a Pepper 1. They just made a game and decided to put a 2 behind it just for fun. Yeah. There you go.
Outstanding. Jumping down to Duroc Pig, he did
he never got around to finishing his comments about agreeing.
Okay.
He said
I agree with...
He agreed. No,
I agree with Cronodin on Burger Time and Donkey Kong being great. They look best on this system, especially compared to the Intellivision's Green Monkey. You are not wrong. Just trying hard not to do the arcade ports. Now, Zaxxon, I don't like Zaxxon at all. I know a few of you on here will hate that. I do, in fact, hate that, but I respect it. It's not the game itself, it's the perspective it's in. And he goes on to say, my brain does not work with that side-ish view with the 3D-ish graphics. Give it credit for trying something like that, and people who can play it seem to love it. But like you said, Chris, like your brain just doesn't click.
Yeah, just doesn't do it.
Just doesn't click with that. Chrono then goes on to explain why the game is in fact awesome. Duroc Pig did like I suggested in our Discord chat and watched videos because you all love me and you want my sexy ass to be happy. I did think this was funny. He's like an 80-year-old grandma trying to figure out how to shmemulate things because not part of the PC Master Race. So based only on video evidence, Duroc Pig has given us Zaxxon because it looks super cool. Really enjoyed the arcade version. Looks like a very competent port. It is. Pepper 2, which seems like a more elaborate form of Quicks, and I enjoy that game a lot. Gonna agree with Cronodin on Antarctic Adventure. Game looks adorable and entertaining. Donkey Kong, because it's fucking Donkey Kong. I mean, who doesn't want more Donkey Kong? It's very hard to argue with that. And finally, Pit Stop, because I have fond memories playing the sequel on our Tandy computer growing up. I love racing games, and I think being able to operate the pit crew is a cool concept that pretty much all racing games since have just completely ignored. Ferg then chimes in first.
Oh, come on, let me read Ferg's. I want to read Ferg's.
Okay, read Ferg's.
My turn. I will read Ferg's.
I was trying to save your capacity, your lungs.
He says, first, fuck you, ColecoVision, for taking 12 seconds to load up. Hell yeah. These are not in order except for, number 1, Ladybug. I remember playing this at the bowling alley and sucking hard, so I never played it again. My loss because it's a great game that is kind of like Pac-Man but totally different. It's really close to the arcade here, and it's a must if you own the system. Number 2, Antarctic Adventure. This game is so cute and charming and so diabolical. I don't think the otters pop up too late to avoid them, but they're the cutest pains in the ass you'll ever see. Bonus points for being able to catch salmon in your mouth like you're a teppanyaki restaurant. Again, this game is a must-try. Number 3, Turbo. I was absolutely in love with this arcade game at the time and played it whenever I could. It's a fantastic racing game with a little bit of personality that pole position lacks. Also, if you have the steering wheel, it makes the experience even better. I will also add that Turbo is a pretty darn good board game. They made a Milton Bradley Turbo board game based on the Sega arcade game. It's pretty fun. Number 4, Squish 'em featuring Sam. I had never heard of this until I found a copy in a game store for cheap about 15 years ago. It's like Crazy Climber. While you climb up the building, you also stomp on bugs, yelling "squish 'em" each time. Once I figured out what was going on, I played for hours, and it became one of those games that I play whenever I break out the Coleco. Number 5, Slither. I'm a sucker for weird controllers and for Centipede, which is why I picked this. The controller is necessary, though, so if you're playing on actual hardware, you will need it. You can move all over the screen and shoot up or down in this game, and it is weirdly bright if you're used to Centipede. I try to stay away from games that are on every system in my list. And my hot take is that I do not like this version of Donkey Kong. Please take your sweet time getting up that ladder, Mario. Some honorable mentions for me are Gyrus, Tutankhamun, Nova Blast, and Carnival. All right, take us home, Dan.
Excellent list. And then finally, to close it out, RC Metz does concur with Slither, but Rumblemans, I think, just the only game I've tried is Gorf, and I was pleasantly surprised. And there you have it.
There you have it.
An absolutely wonderful list. Thank you so much, guys, for participating in this one. This one really does genuinely mean a lot to me. I really do adore this system. I've been I've been debating whether or not I am actually going to pursue. I found I was over at my aunt's house for Easter, and I was getting something out of one of the bedrooms in her house, and I noticed that she had an old 17-inch CRT with a VCR built into the bottom of it, and I was like, so I'm gonna have that. And you're going to be cool with that, right? And she was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. It is an old TV with a VCR. I just haven't thrown it out because I haven't picked it up. And I was like, no, I'm going to take it when I, eventually get all this shit done. I'll put it over in the corner and I'll have something to put retro games on, right? Not a big TV, but it'll be fine. And now, the more I've been thinking about this, I was like, man, am I actually going to try to get a Coleco that works and get some games? And I think this is the one that I might actually go pursue, because it is relatively affordable, and I don't need the games complete in box. I certainly didn't have the boxes when I was a kid. I had this very weird giant clamshell thing that had a big dome. It almost looked like an iMac. Those really colorful iMacs, it was kind of that shape, and you would lift the top of it, and you would slot all of your games into it. That was my ColecoVision storage. So I never had the games or any of that shit. So I might actually pursue a ColecoVision and a couple of these games at some point, because, man, do I just love the shit out of this system. And it was so hard for me to then go to the Atari 2600 after the ColecoVision. I played Burger Time on the 2600 and then went to my buddy Nick's house, and he was like, you want to play Burger Time? I was like, fuck yeah, I love Burger Time. And then he put it on. I was like, well, I don't want to play whatever the fuck that is. I thought you said we were going to play Burger Time. What is this shit? This is absurd.
The 2600 version of Burger Time is a bit of a step down from the Coleco one, that's for sure.
Just a bit, but I just absolutely adore this system, and I really do appreciate everybody kind of jumping in, and I hope everybody had fun going back to this, because this is really the entire point of the whole piece of business. Right. These exercises have been pretty fun. I
didn't have the most fun in the world with Intellivision, but I did have a lot of fun getting it up and running and trying it out and kind of piecing together these three platforms. Intellivision, ColecoVision, and Odyssey 2 are these kind of big holes in my history, and not anymore. I have a pretty solid grip on those platforms now, and that's really fun. But it is time to announce our next one, which this actually also comes very highly requested from our Discord group. So the next system that we'll be covering next month is the Vectrex.
And this is going to be new for me. I've played some Vectrex, but not Vectrex. That's not what it is. The Vectrex. See, I can't even fucking say it right. I have cursory experience at best.
I love my Vectrex. I have a multi-cart for it, so I have access to most of the official games on it, and I've played a bunch of them. So I'm looking forward to putting together a list on this one, because it is a very, very neat system. If you have the obviously shmemulation is a thing, but if you've got the option to play it for real, it's not like anything else, because it's an all vector graphics based game console, which is totally friggin' wild. I love
it's so cool.
Death, so yeah, next month Vectrex will remind everybody on the Discord and the socials to get us their lists. But it's a relatively small library, and I think that's the Vectrex is kind of it for that generation, right? Because next up we're gonna move on to NES and Master System, I think, right?
So we've got, Vectrex is next, and then the month after that, we're into NES Master System. Because we added this time around, we added Intellivision, Odyssey 2, Coleco, and Vectrex. We did not do that for the starter kits.
Yeah. Cool. How exciting.
It is exciting. I'm legitimately, excited to try and dive into this. I will have to do it through Shmemulation, which is obviously just not the best way to do the Vectrex. But
you just need to drive out to my house and play some Vectrex.
Or I will drive out to your house. That is also an option. Yeah.
All right, with that, we're going to take ourselves a quick break.
Well,
I'm going to put my kids to bed and...
Time out real quick before the... There's one. Hello, child.
Hi.
Real quick before we do that, we did say we wanted to mention to everybody about the Super Series and just give everybody a heads up. So do you want to do it now so we don't forget? Because I'm going to forget.
I was going to talk about it a little bit when we do the checkpoint, but
okay,
whatever. You want to throw that in now?
No, fuck all you guys. We'll do it during the checkpoint. No, there's a big tease.
Have some suspense.
That's right.
All right, everybody. We're going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on in Week Old News. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. Hi, everyone. Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
All right, everybody, we're back. We returned. We talked about things. I got a glass of chocolate milk. I put the kids to bed. My house smells a little funny. I got the Pilot Wings back up and running in the background there. So that means it's time for my favorite segment and your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. Are you adding more shit?
No, I'm taking away the spaces so it looks like less. Don't fucking question me. There, I almost got it down to one page. I think I might be able to. Hold on. You take the first story. I'm going to get this down to one page.
I don't want to take the... fine. Twisted Voxel reports Italian TV channel uses DLSS 5 footage, then files copyright claim against NVIDIA on YouTube. Okay. Italian TV channel LA7 made unauthorized use of NVIDIA DLSS 5 footage, then proceeded to file a copyright claim against the GPU manufacturer and content creators on YouTube. LA7, an Italian TV channel, used footage announcement trailer and then sent a copyright claim to every YouTube video that contains said footage including the GPU manufacturer's own, resulting in the official video announcement video getting taken down as seen below. What the hell?
Is that not the dumbest fucking thing ever? So they use the footage and then file a fucking copy. We live in the dumbest fucking timeline. That's why I put this story in here. It's so fucking stupid.
It's really dumb.
Jesus Christ. We do in fact live in the dumbest timeline.
There's a lot of stupid here.
Yeah. Speaking of dumb timelines, Time Extension reports that limited run games have announced widespread delays, conceding to that delivery dates were, quote, too aggressive and also, quote, overly optimistic. The company has, are you sitting down, once again praised or promised to do better. This is coming on the heels of it was a month ago that they said, like, we're going to do better in March. Limited Run Games announced that they would be pursuing a renewed fan-first focus in the future. And they have now sent out mass emails to their customers announcing delays for many of the upcoming titles, which they have blamed on the, quote, overly optimistic and aggressive delivery dates set forth under its former leadership. As we know, Josh Fairhurst is going to be stepping down as president of Limited Run Games. He has done so at this point. Let's ship 3DO games on CDRs rather than discs, and the NES carts with the wrong voltage, and like there's been a lot of shit. What's kind of fun about this, some of the people who have been commenting on this have been like, okay, sweet, but you didn't attach any order numbers to these emails, so we have to now sign into our accounts to check and see if your overly aggressive and optimistic release dates were affecting the games that I have pre-ordered. Limited Run Games continues to be just an epic clusterfuck of a company, which is a goddamn shame, because they do make when it ships and you do receive their limited stuff, and all of the stuff that they do is very nice and very well put together, for the most part, right? Not the 3DO things and whatever, but for the most part, they do put out a really good product. But how you could have any faith in this company going forward is it's just, they've really just shot themselves in the foot. It is
we'll see what happens.
Unforced errors.
Yeah, we will see what happens with this new regime change. But yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gizmodo reports the Mass Effect show is getting rewritten to get greenlit. If Prime Video gets to adapt Mass Effect, it'll be, quote, non-gamer friendly, whatever that means. Okay.
Why bother?
I kind of forgot that they were even doing a Mass Effect show.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care about Mass Effect. I find that an interesting take, though, because Fallout's Amazon, isn't it? Yeah,
it definitely is. And it's very video game friendly.
Yeah, so I wonder why TV head Peter Friedlander, who's allegedly wanted to read the scripts of all in-development projects before letting them move forward with production. Mass Effect's case, it said Friedlander once wanted rewrites so it could be, quote, more appealing to non-gamers. At first glance, that idea sounds silly, given those games were arguably written with a broad audience in mind. It's a mix of Star Trek and Star Wars, and it's never really tried to hide that. At the same side, it's also unclear what more appealing to non-gamers even means here. What was so isolating to Friedlander that he felt rewrites were warranted, what was too obtuse to pick up throughout context, and if he had read multiple scripts, how prevalent was this issue throughout them? These are all things we currently don't know and probably won't for a while. Either way, the Mass Effect show is definitely not the only adaptation made to be less into itself. Sometimes it doesn't matter, and other times, well, love it or hate it, streamlining is par for the course in adaptations. We all know this. Alright, well, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Guess we'll see what happens.
Interesting story, and also in that same world, Nerdist reports Metal Gear Solid movie in the works from Final Destination duo. The directors of Final Destination Bloodlines, that would be Adam B. Stein and Zach Lipovsky, I guess is how you say it.
Sure.
They directed Final Destination Bloodlines, which was a hit last year for Sony. Sony then have put them in charge of an animated Venom film, and have also announced, before this animated Venom film has even had anything done with it, that they will be directing the Metal Gear Solid movie, which has nothing else attached to it other than these two directors, and that it is being produced by Avi and Ari Arad from, previous Marvel fame. What's the one nice thing coming out of this is that the duo did say, all of the right things about this, right? Heaping praise on Kojima and on Metal Gear Solid and how revolutionary it was and all of those things. Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group President Sanford Panich released the following statement saying that Zach and Adam are thrilling storytellers, masters of visuals and suspense, two of the most impressive director-producers working today with projects across all the company's film labels. We are so happy to create a home for them and proud to have them as part of the Sony family. So, these two guys are getting Venom and Metal Gear Solid. I hope it's incredible. Metal Gear Solid is so perfect for, I think, a television adaptation, but sure, go with a film. It's there, right? Like, the bones of that movie, of that project are there. It's really just one of those, like, just really don't fuck this up. So we'll see.
We sure will, if it ever comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Toy Arc reports McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat Classic Jade and Noob Saibot pre-orders. They're pretty good-looking action figures, and you can pre-order them. They're $35 each. They're incredibly detailed 7-inch scale figures based off the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Yeah, these are good-looking figures. I like them. They're palette swaps of the characters that they've done before, but these are really good-looking, and I like them, and I need to get...
They're pretty solid.
I need to get some more of these.
The Jade's kind of an odd call. Just because, Jade... So this appears to be specifically just repainting the katana.
Yes.
And Jade did use those weapons in Mortal Kombat 2 when she was just a palette swap, but she's been her own character for ages now.
She has.
A staff. I think it's weird that they didn't just give her a staff. Instead, just repainted the katana figure entirely. That's kind of an odd choice.
I think that's whatever. The gimmick with this particular release. Like, the Noob Saibot is very clearly a repaint of their Scorpion Sub-Zero mold. Like, they're very specifically going for the original just palette swap thing. Instead of... And that way, a year or two down the line, now we do the actual Jade and the actual Noob Saibot. But it's kind of fun. Like, I quite like the idea of having a shelf of the palette swap ninjas. You know what I mean? I kind of like that idea. But this is kind of a niche story, but certainly something that I am far more interested in owning this now than I ever was. Apple Insider reports that the Apple Vision Pro, which is their big fucking headset thing, is getting a native Steam Link gaming app. I really should pre-read this shit, even though I'm the one who put it here. Valve is expanding its Steam Link to the Apple Vision Pro through a new test flight, giving gamers a way to play their Mac and PC games on Apple's headset. Valve Steam platform provides gamers with features like Steam Link, which lets you play your PC and Mac games on another device. This has previously been available on things like the iPhone and your Mac and the Apple TV. It is now being expanded to the Apple Vision Pro. The Apple Vision Pro is Apple's AR, VR headset thing. It's really fucking cool. It's just a big set of it's a big screen that you put in front of your face, and I'm interested in it, but it's so goddamn expensive. What is the current price of the Apple Vision Pro? Because I know this is something that you have just no interest in, Chris, right? Like this.
My eyes are glazing over as you're talking.
Yeah, like this kind of, virtual computer screen that you wear on your face is just not a thing that I know you're super into. I, however, am fucking super excited about our robot overlords, and I'm just trying to find a price on this stupid pair of goggles. And the Apple Vision Pro... Oh boy, yeah, currently the Apple Vision Pro 256 gigabyte is $3,400. So, if you've got a spare couple of grand laying around, you can play your Steam games on a massive fucking screen in your face.
That's a spicy meatball.
It certainly is. This is neat.
It's going to be 86 degrees on Wednesday, Dan.
I know, it's fucking stupid. I don't like it.
Moving right along, Retro RGB reports big update released for the 240p test suite and a new N64 version. So we carry these at Stone Age Gamer, these 240p test suites, and they're pretty interesting. I've not used one myself, and I'd kind of like to. They're basically these cartridges that are or CDs released for various platforms that you can use to adjust your screen to most accurately portray games and stuff, just to make sure that everything is aligned properly. So apparently there's a new update for the test suites, something called a new monoscope test pattern. It was developed by Keith Rainey, I think is how you say that. And it's a really interesting, weird looking pattern that's supposed to be just the tits when it comes to calibrating your TV.
Badger's ascot.
There's also a new version coming for the N64, which is pretty cool. People like these things. We carry them, I think, for... actually, let me see. I can just look at it. I have access to our website. 240p. 240p test suite. We've got one for Neo Geo, Dreamcast, and I think we ordered one for Genesis. I might be mistaken, but anyway, they're interesting things that folks seem to care about. So neat.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome. Man, I don't know how to feel about this story. And I'm interested on your thoughts on it. Time Extension reports, I know some people don't like this. Final Fight MD's latest project uses generative AI. Final Fight MD, which is the Mega Drive or Genesis port of Final Fight that was developed by Mauro Xavier, he has a new game coming out. It is called Bullet Rhythm. It is a vertically scrolling shmup for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, which will feature CD quality music on a cartridge thanks to the MSU standard. It looks like an interesting idea for a game. The action is based around shooting enemies to the rhythm of the music. What he has said, though, is that although I know some people don't like this, Bullet Rhythm will have its music tracks entirely made by AI with complete or partial lyrics of my own authorship, and I want to make sure not to hide this fact. So, on the one hand, generative AI sucks and is theft and is all of those things that we've said multiple times, right? And that's never going to change. It just is what it is. On the other hand of this story, though, he's not trying to hide it, right? Like, we're just being honest from jump. This is what I'm using for this. Not that it makes it okay, but does it make it okay? Like, it's not okay, but is it okay?
Not for me. Like, I understand what he's saying. He's like, look, it's either I use this or this game doesn't come out. Unfortunately, I think that I don't think that's a choice. Look, I have...
That's kind of how I feel, too. I just... Yeah.
I've had ideas for things before that I don't have the talent to like, I had some ideas for children's books that I wanted to do, but I'm not an artist. I can't illustrate them. I don't have that capability, and I don't have the ability to pay somebody to draw them for me. Those books will never come out. None of those ideas will ever come to fruition because I don't have the money for it. That is just the unfortunate reality. And I refuse to use stolen art to try and make a profit off of something. Like, it's just, sorry, that's the whole story. I don't think it goes any further than that. You have the opportunity to say, all right, barf up some music slop, and then I will use that, and most people won't even be able to tell the difference, but you effectively stole all that stuff. Like...
Yeah, and I just wonder,
the article
right?
Says,
like,
it has been largely trained on the work of human artists without permission or remuneration. Like, that's it.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. Just because the tool exists doesn't mean that you need to use it. And I know it sucks that you won't be able to release this game with the kind of music that you want to be involved in it. That's kind of tragic, but also so is the theft of the music in the first place.
And I just have to wonder, is there no one out there willing to contribute music to this game with the hope of getting paid? You know what I mean? Like, I have to imagine that there's just another way around this. I have to imagine there are people sitting there with blurry screens currently, but tons of chiptune musics that they've made, for fun, for a hobby, that would be like, all right, dude, like, check this shit. I have to imagine that exists, I don't know.
I don't either. Yeah. But I don't want to read this next story. I want to read the story after it because I put it in there and I'm finding it fascinating.
Okay, I'll take this one. Time Extension reports that the PS3 shmemulator RPC S3 announces a huge new SPU breakthrough set to benefit all games. Twisted Metal 2012 has already recorded a 5 to 7 average frames per second improvement, 5 to 7% average. So RPC S3 is the PlayStation 3 shmemulator. And the cell processor used in the PlayStation 3 has been notoriously difficult. It was notoriously difficult to work with when the PlayStation 3 was the console of the time, which has naturally made it difficult to shmemulate. We are now, however, getting to a point where that generation of game is going to be replicated in a way that we can do for generations previous to that. And depending on your feeling on this particular subject, that's either really, really exciting news, or really like, you shouldn't do that, and that's bad. But from the game preservation aspect of it, this is a really exciting development.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. That's it. That's all about that one.
And so I get to read this one. This is probably my favorite story of the week. There was a new prototype of Punch-Out that's been found. Go Nintendo reports pre-Mike Tyson prototype version of Punch-Out sells at auction for $45,000 and gets dumped online. The Video Game History Foundation posted a video about it, which is utterly fascinating. This is bazonkers. The cutting room floor has a whole breakdown.
Yeah, I watched it. It was cool.
There's a cartridge that looks like a production cartridge, kind of, with placeholder artwork in it. which is just completely insane because like these kind of early prototype things are usually done on different kinds of cartridges. This looks more like a retail cartridge. So the big differences, like the big wacky stuff on here, like there's only 4 fighters, but it also it says guest stars, you know, in the original, the actual version, it says all the characters that are in the game. Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, King Hippo, Piston Honda, Grey Tiger, Bald Bull, Sandman, Don Flamenco, Soda Popinski, and Super Macho Man. This version says Glass Joe, Pizza Pasta from the original arcade game, Bald Bull, Rocky Head, Mr. Sandman, Mongol Khan, Piston Hurricane, not Piston Honda, Vodka Drunkinski, and many more champs. So, yeah, Pizza Pasta wasn't put in this game.
Right.
Vodka Drunkinski was turned to Soda Popinski, and Rocky Head and Mongol Khan, I don't believe are characters that exist anywhere in the Punch-Out universe, which, boy, do I want to know what they were. I really want to know what these characters were, because you know somewhere there was a drawing of these characters. Like, if it made it that far that their names existed, someone somewhere made a drawing of it. The graphics look pretty much the same. I think it's missing some animations here and there. The ring colors don't change, but there aren't really a lot of different different areas. So you got Glass Joe, Bald Bull, King Hippo, and Don Flamenco. Mm-hmm. It's like there's some interesting stuff that's not there. Like Bald Bull he's missing his rolling jabs, hooks, and the bull charge, little things like that. Whereas there are a couple other boxers that you can get to through like test functions. You can load up Von Kaiser and Great Tiger, but they just do like animation crawls. They don't actually fight you. Mr. Sandman also only exists as a less complete test. His match intro play, but once the fight begins, he stands still. You can dodge and punch him, and punching him will make him flash between 2 frames. You can beat Mr. Sandman by punching him enough to drain his health, but the only thing that will happen upon his health reaching 0 are Little Mac backing up and the timer stopping. How interesting.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, this is so weird. What they were saying on the Video Game History Foundation video is like they've never seen anything quite like this. And that's just utterly fascinating to me. Yeah,
like they went in and broke down like the difference in the chips that were in there, how they're like production chips versus what's usually in there. Like it's a really fascinating little video.
Yeah, and this is a really fascinating little thing. I love Punch-Out. I love Punch-Out so much. I miss Punch-Out. Give us a new Punch-Out. Punch-Out Wii was so good.
It really was. I've got a really good take on Punch-Out, Chris. Whenever you want to hear it, you let me know. We'll do it off the show, though, because it's so good that somebody would legitimately steal it.
Oh, my God. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Time Extension reports Pond versus Bond. James Bond's IP owner opposes trademark for Colt UK video game character. This is weird. So the Colt UK video game character James Pond has once again found himself in the middle of a trademark battle with Danjak, the owners of the James Bond IP, according to a new report from the World Trademark Review journalist Tim Lintz. James Pond, as we know, is a character that first debuted in James Pond Underwater Agent for the Commodore Amiga and Atari ST, and is very clearly a parody of James Bond. Created by developer Kris Sorrell. It was later the subject of a Mega Drive Genesis port published by EA, and has gone on with a couple of different sequels, including one of Chris's absolute favorite games, James Pond 2, codename Robocod. Current ownership of Mr. Pond is shared between 2 companies, GameWare and System 3. Both of these companies have announced new James Pond projects within the last year. So some follow-up games and a James Pond collection. And what's so interesting, in the last year, in a move to protect the brand, as is written here, in the modern marketplace environment, System 3 filed a trademark for the trademark for the character across a wide range of goods and services, video game, software, clothes, blah, 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 blah. Dan Jack, the owners of James Bond, have filed to oppose the mark because I suppose they're concerned. It seems very strange.
You're going after James Bond, a Z-list video game thing that's been around forever?
Yeah.
Come on. Stop it.
Yeah, the reporter...
Leave
Mr.
my beloved
Lintz,
James Bond alone.
Yeah. Mr. Lintz is speculating that their opposition is widely expected to rely on the reputation of the Bond trademark and the legal consequences of that status. Again, he is a fish. I understand protecting your brand, but what strikes me as odd about this one is what you just said, right, Chris? This isn't new. This isn't like, did you hear about the wacky new thing they're doing called James Bond? Isn't that funny? This is like 30 years ago this came out. And it didn't hurt. That, like, it just seems a very petty kind of thing to do. But certainly within their rights to do so.
Barbara Broccoli would never. That's what I have to say about that.
That's fair.
Moving right along. Retro RGB reports Super Mario Bros. NES to SMS port demo. Some Looney Tune, lack of track, did an entry to the SMS Powers 2026 coding contest by recreating the first level of Super Mario Bros. For Sega Master System, and it's really freaking impressive. It's got some weird loading issues, but the visuals are wild because it's really taking advantage of what the Master System is capable of, and it's using, for the most part, scaled down versions of the 16-bit Super Mario All-Stars visuals instead of the 8-bit NES ones, for the most part. Like the bushes, move around in the breeze. The clouds are from the NES game, but and the background is plain blue. But Mario and the Goombas and the pipes and whatnot, they're all straight out of Mario All Stars, and they look pretty darn good. This is wild, and it's not just like a lot of times you'll see Super Mario Brothers on Genesis, and they just reskinned a Genesis game with Super Mario stuff or something, right? But that's not what this is. It's coded from scratch for the Genesis, so it doesn't just look the part; it feels the part. And the music, Super Mario Brothers theme coming out of a Master System is just
it's
wrong.
Weird.
It's just wrong, not in a terrible way. It's fascinating. It actually does not sound bad, but it is wrong on a very intrinsic level. So this is
it's neat.
They said they want to keep working on it, but they need help with people help them with visuals and stuff. I think this is great. I love the homebrew community. Sometimes they come up with some wacky stuff.
They do. It is a neat little project. Speaking of neat little projects, there was a whole bunch of them announced at the Triple I Initiative showcase that took place earlier this week. I'm certainly not about to go through this entire list, but I did want to pull a couple of different things. If you're interested in looking at it, you can go to SteamDeckHQ.com to look at their list. You can also just watch the video on YouTube or whatever. The big thing that came out of this was that there was a decent amount of gameplay and a bit of discussion of the story of Castlevania Belmont's Curse, which is still coming out this year. Did you happen to watch any of that, Chris?
I watched the Belmont's Curse thing. I noticed they announced Graveyard Keeper 2. Matt Raymond was a big fan of Graveyard Keeper. Yeah. He brought it up on Wave Back once.
Yeah, this Castlevania Belmont's Curse shit looks so fucking good. I'm so excited.
I am very, very into that.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, this looked fantastic. They announced Rift of the Necro Dancer was getting Undertale DLC, which is pretty cool. There's some DLC coming out for Clover Pit, which is, that roguelike weird slot machine game that I think I'm going to pick up pretty soon. Two things that they showed off that I am really excited about. There's a prologue chapter that has been released for the game Neverway. That is the game. We've been talking about that for a couple years now at this point. That's the game that is being done by the pixel artist of Celeste. It's a really gorgeous looking game. There's some really interesting looking stuff with that one. And then the other game that they showed off was Dead as Disco. I got a message from Mr. Mike Sheridan after a day after that show demanding that I download the game so that we could talk about it. So I've downloaded the demo. I'm going to play it this weekend. It looks like a really cool like kung fu action type game where you upload your own tracks and you fight to that. Like I'm not entirely sure how it works. That's what it looks like kind of on the outset. The fighting mechanics look really, really cool. I will have something to say more about it next week. But we're starting we're on the road to not E3 time, right? Not E3
Yes, we
season
are.
is kind of rapidly approaching, and these showcases are going to be happening with much more frequency than I would like. But it was a decent show. There were some interesting things that were shown off.
Yeah, it's coming. It's right around the corner. And I don't know that I'm ready for it. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you just want there
stuff
to
for
be
me
a
to be
Nintendo
excited about
one.
it.
You need to know.
Yeah, I really just want a Nintendo Direct. But I mean, I used to like that time of year a lot. And
Yeah.
then we were starting to get that back. But now we're in a different... Now it's like, it just feels like so much work trying to keep up with all of them. It used to be really fun to try to piece them all together. And there was just a handful of things. But now there's
there's so much.
here's a 3.5 hour showcase with 158 games. And it's just no.
And they're
I just
all
can't.
farming sims.
Who can keep up? It's just banana balls. But
It's a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll take another approach this year. I don't think either one of us should try to watch all of them.
No.
We'll see. Anyway, we got to keep this moving right along because it's getting late and I'm tired. Why don't you take this next one and I'll take the follow-up because you posted the first one and I was going to post the second one. So
Yeah.
let's hear what you have to say and then I'll talk about what the community has to say.
I have to say the second one. That's what I have to say. PlayStation Blog reports, introducing the Playerbase, bringing PlayStation's biggest fan into blockbuster PlayStation Studios games. Starting today, fans can apply for an opportunity to step into Gran Turismo 7 with additional games to be announced in the future. We're introducing the Playerbase, a unique opportunity for PlayStation's biggest fans to step into some of the biggest game worlds by having their likeness scanned and appear within a PlayStation game. The Playerbase will start with Gran Turismo 7 and will be looking to expand and include fans in additional PlayStation Studios titles in the near future. Translation: we promise we're not going to use this for AI-generated models based on players' faces so that we don't have to do as much work in the future. This is fucking weird. Because the idea of being able to scan yourself to be in a game, that's not new. That's something that's been in sports games for decades at this point. You could do it with the iToy back in the day, right? And you could put a really shitty flat map of your face on a character.
You could do it on the
iToy.
N64.
Yeah, on the 64.
Well, technically, they took it out of Perfect Dark because,
Yeah.
you were able to take a picture with the Game Boy camera and then use the transfer pack to put your face in the game. They're like, yeah, but people are just going to take pictures of their junk, so
Yeah.
we're going to not.
And they
implement
definitely
that.
were going to.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
What's weird about this in this announcement, before you get on to your part of the story, is just the way that it's phrased here at the bottom of this article. And again, this is the official PlayStation blog. The Playerbase is our way of saying thank you to the players who make PlayStation what it is today. We can't wait to meet the fans who will step into the world of PlayStation in a whole new way. I don't need you to say thank you by letting me scan my face into I need you to say thank you by not being so fucking greedy. That's how you could say thank you. That's a way to do it, is to not jack up the prices of your shit to such a crazy level, because you're going to make less profit.
Push Square reports, quote, "Who on earth would want this?" Almost 90% of PS5 fans not interested in new player-based program. Quote, "Abso-fucking-lutely not."
Yeah.
Comments on the PS blog have been even more forgiving. One user said, "Nobody asked for this. Bet this won't last long either. Make games." Another added, "You are more and more disconnected from reality and your fans by the day. Who wants this? I hope this won't be used to train some fucking AI."
Yeah, it will.
It will. Yeah, so Push Square, let's see. Considering the kind of people who tend to visit our site are highly engaged PlayStation fans, almost 90% saying they're not interested in a program designed to celebrate the fan base feels like a massive miss to us. I don't think you're wrong, fellas.
You're not. You're not. And 20 years ago, this would have been a cute, novel thing.
Exactly. This would have been an interesting thing back then. Yeah. But that's not today. Sony.
It's not the world we live in.
You are giving Nintendo a run for their money in being out of touch with the world around you, and that is a really bad thing.
Yeah,
because Nintendo has prided themselves for generations on being disconnected from the world around them.
It's pretty impressive. It is pretty fucking impressive. Speaking of Nintendo, Polygon reports that Pokemon developers' first ever game is now available on the Nintendo Switch Online. This was an interesting update. So we are getting, for the April game updates for Nintendo Switch Online, we're getting Pac-Man, the arcade classic. This game is, what is this? Mendel Palace, which was originally released as Quinty in Japan, is the first ever game from Game Freak, the primary developer of the mainline Pokemon games. It is a puzzle and action game in which you flip floor tiles around to push your enemies away and into walls to deal damage. You play as a character called Bon Bon on a mission to rescue his girlfriend, Princess Candy. Mendel Palace can be played in solo or co-op mode. You are also getting Namco's Tower of Druaga, an arcade title from 1984 that I have never been able to really understand why anybody is into that game. It's never.
I've never gotten it either, but it's one of the most influential games in history. And I've never played Mendel Palace because I always thought the box art looked like shit.
Yeah.
And so I was never interested in giving it a try. Now that I know it's got a bit of a lineage, I should boot it up on the old switcheroo and see how it goes.
What a weird
Seems like it's an interesting little thing. Man, they just drop the strangest shit into Nintendo Switch Online sometimes. Like, there are a lot of really cool NES games that they could be putting on this service. And,
well, I mean, thankfully they've gotten Pac-Man. All of the cool ones out of the way. There are no...
Yeah, every single one. How dare you? There's nothing missing from this list.
Yeah. We should be getting...
On the same token, I'm not upset about these picks. Especially the Pac-Man and Tower of Druaga make a lot of sense for the Japanese one, which is why they're here. Because, in Japan... they got this version of Pac-Man earlier, and this was such a good version of Pac-Man compared to what else was available at home. And Tower of Druaga was huge on Famicom. Just absolutely huge on Famicom. Never came out here in the States. Not on Found NES, that is. And then Mendel Palace has that Pokemon lineage, and it's not anything that anyone's really played. It's a really weird, obscure thing with hideous ass box art. So
it is really weird ass box art. Maybe it's great. I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope you tell me it is, because I'm not going to play it. Yeah. All right, start with the sad shit.
Let's see here. Time extension reports. Double Dragon creator Yoshihisa Kishimoto has passed away. It's a bummer.
It's a super bummer.
Helped create the Kunio-kun series. Double Dragon passed away on April 2nd. Yeah, that's sad. He wasn't that old. He was
only in his 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, 64.
And I mean, you talk about leaving your mark, adding a spoke to the wheel, man.
Kunio-kun, Double Dragon, WWF Superstars and WrestleFest, the Combat Tribes.
Pretty fucking massive. Yeah. Big fucking bummer. Also a big fucking bummer, reported by Time Extension. 1 million subs later, one of retro gaming's most famous YouTubers calls it quits. Gaming historian, real name Norman Caruso, has decided it is finally time to move on. He put out a quote in his farewell video saying, I assume that after a few months, or they put out the quote from his video, sorry. I assume that after a few months I'd get the itch again and make a new video. To my surprise, that itch to make a new video never really came back. I definitely tried to make something else. I even announced it on social media, but my heart wasn't in it, and I knew that if I ever finished that video, the quality would suffer. That's when it finally clicked. I was ready to move on from the gaming historian. So this channel's been on YouTube since 2008. He has made some truly, truly wonderful videos. Something that I know you like his videos, Chris. I like his videos. There's been some really, really great stuff. And I do kind of love that he gets to go out on his terms, right? Yeah. Not controversial, not getting canceled because he did some fucking weird shit or whatever. He's just like, I'm out of shit. Sorry, I'm done. I did it. Bye.
Yeah, I met him at a convention a while back. He's a lot taller in person than you'd expect.
Yeah?
He doesn't look that tall in his videos. Now, he's a tall drink of water. He's a nice fella. It was very nice to meet him.
Maybe he'll be a dancer with those long dancer's legs when he's done.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Well, yeah. Last but not least.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, but I'll tell you what's not. Nerdist reports a working Taco Bell officially opens in Pokopia.
Yep.
It's a pretty interesting video. Somebody, a user at KoiJX on Twitter says, we made a Taco Bell in Pokopia. And it looks like a functioning Taco Bell. It's really weird and insane. And good job, Internet. Good job.
Sometimes, Internet. Sometimes.
And with that, that's it for week old news. And that's it for my brain. We've still got one more segment to cover, so we're going to take ourselves a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to check in with the checkpoint. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
Do you miss the days when you'd get a fresh issue of Nintendo Power in the mail every month? It was stacked with reviews, previews, and all manner of cool new stuff about the world of Nintendo, and it even came with a free poster. Well, you don't have to miss those days anymore because Nintendo Force is here. Functioning as a spiritual successor to Nintendo's classic magazine, Nintendo Force is staffed with top-notch writing talent, and me for some reason, to deliver fresh new reviews, previews, and more right to your door every other month. And yes, posters are still included, except ours are double-sided. So if you want the thrill of learning all about the world of Nintendo in physical format, head on over to NintendoForceMagazine.com and learn all about it. Nintendo Force Magazine, the force of Nintendo fans. All right, everybody, we're back. We did it. We survived yet another break, and it is time for us to talk about the world around us. What we've been doing, what we've been smelling, tasting, experiencing. It's time to check in with the checkpoint.
Checkpoint!
I'll go first because I have almost nothing to say here. I was gifted very kindly by a listener. I was gifted the funds to purchase Gravity Circuit because they were talking about it in the
Nice.
the Discord, and I mentioned that I really wanted to play it, but I never gotten around to it, and then I got gifted it, and I have not downloaded it yet because I've actually been pretty busy this week with a couple of other things. I am still working my way through Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is bringing me a lot of joy, but I also started messing around. Like I worked on the Time Breaker Lycon stuff again this week. I finished making the video and involved a lot of setting up and calibrating and getting that video together was pretty good. The kids were home for spring break, which has been, a situation. Not a situation. It's just been there. They've been around and we've been trying to entertain them. I'm on this wacky new medicine, which I started on Wednesday. Amusingly enough, on Tuesday, I ran the fastest 5K I've ever run.
Nice.
And then the next day I started taking medication and now I can't breathe. So that's really cool. That's just lots of joy there. And I'm making a lot of progress on my Super Mario archaeology video, the 10th one. I'm mostly through the script. I really want to have it done for not next week, but the week after. I'm trying my darndest. I really want to get it done. It's just really hard to find the extra time to make these videos come together, but I am working hard on it. Now, the other things that I've been playing, I started playing DK King of Swing for the Super Series. I really wanted to start giving that a proper go, and I have thoughts on it already. That is an interesting game. Not sure how good, it's definitely good at what it's doing, but it's very interesting. But of course, the other one I will let Dan talk about because we actually had a bit of a conversation about this last week, and I thought it was important to share it with all of y'all.
Yeah, and I agree. So I have already decided on what my game is going to be for the letter E. And it's a game that I've... What's that?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did. All right. Well, fuck you then. It's a game that I've never played before, but because DK King of Swing is so short, we figured, I asked Kris about it when he announced that game in one of our breaks. I was like, this is the game I'm thinking of, but I want to say it now because it's kind of a big one. So we're going to go ahead and announce that for the Stone Age Super Series, for the letter E, which we will be talking about in 2 months' time. Do you have the date for that, Kris? I don't have the calendar pulled up.
So, May. How does Unas know that already? Did you already put it in the Discord?
I did not. Was it just a guess? It's not a bad guess, if that's...
I don't know. Did we say it at some... Did it wind up in the podcast?
I don't think so. Did Evan put it in the podcast? He might have.
Maybe.
That prick. I don't listen to shit. Well, regardless.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it would be probably the 15th, I think. The 8th or the 15th is whenever that we'll actually be posting it. So we'll probably be recording it on We'll probably be recording it, let's see. That'll be Cartoon Express. And then, Cartoon Express. So yeah, we'll probably be recording it on May 1st. So the episode will go live on the 8th.
Okay, so on May 1st, we will be talking about Earthbound. So it is a game that I have never played, and I've always wanted to play it, but Kris and I made that decision of like, hey, you know, we're going to go ahead and say that this is the one we're playing now because it's a lot bigger of a game than anything we've done so far on the Super Series, right? So for all of you who are playing along with us, we just wanted to throw that out there for you now. You've got up until May 1st to get your thoughts in for Earthbound, and I'm really looking forward to jumping into it. Because it is something that I've spent absolutely no time with, and I know how legendary it is, and I know how loved it is, and all of that. So we'll get to it here soon.
Oh, I asked it in the email. Forgot about that. In the Patreon post. Oh my God.
Way to be a shit, Kris.
Yeah, I did it. That's why I wanted to. That's one of the reasons I wanted to. Oh man, it's just funny timing because we just started talking about it, and then he started talking about it here.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I decided to post it in the Patreon for the early access folks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, so now I guess the cat's out of the bag, so we'll go ahead and throw that in the old Alphabet Super Series thing here. But yes, I started playing Earthbound again. Because I have played through this before, but I had a very strange experience playing through it. If anyone's been listening to the show for a long time, it took me like about 1.5 to 2 years to get through the game. There were lots of really long breaks in between me playing it. So I have kind of a very strange, stilted impression of it. I really enjoyed it, but now I'm trying to be more consistent with it, getting through it. And boy, oh boy, having the rewind feature is lovely. If you have the opportunity to play this game on the Switch with the rewind button, I highly recommend it. Not just for silly things like making mistakes in some of the early... it's really front-loaded with difficulty, but making mistakes in the early battles, but also for the text trees. Because like you'll get to something, you'll have an option to say something silly, so you can just make a decision and then rewind and see what the other decision was, so you can see what all the alternate text is without having to replay the game. It's a really fun way of going through it without having those like, well, yeah, sure, I'll give a dumb shit answer because what's the worst that could happen? I just rewind and then give the right answer. It's been fun to see the different writing that way, because that is really one of the game's strengths, is its writing. So yeah, now everybody knows that. So that's all I've been up to is Earthbound, Mario, and a little DK King of Swing, and of course working. Lots of working.
Yeah. For me this week, we haven't really done all that much. We did.
And Daredevil. Fucking that show's good, man.
I was just about to say the biggest thing, the most impactful thing of the week has continued to be Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Because just, holy shit, is that show. My God. Are you all caught up?
Yep. Yeah, we just watched this week's episode with Bullseye and the diner and the Fisk and the boxing and the woof. Yep.
I mean, that's going to go so poorly for people. Like if that ending sticks the way that it looks like it's going to.
He didn't have much of a moral compass before, but like,
oh boy. I mean, fuck, that show's just incredible. They did just announce, Tiff and I were talking about it a bunch this week. They did just announce that season 3 of Born Again will feature the return of Luke Cage and Iron Fist, so both Mike Coulter and Finn Jones. I am really, really hoping that Finn Jones has put in the work. I feel like they've given him enough time in between the last appearance and this one to get good at the martial arts. Because that's really been his big hang-up so far, has been just not being very good at that. I know season 2 was a lot better than season 1. It was fucking all that. Whatever. Still very obviously.
I was wrong on the date.
The week away.
This is June. Earthbound's going to be June.
Oh, okay.
So
June
we'll
1st.
probably be talking June 5th.
Okay. So even better. June 5th, you guys have time.
Plenty of time.
But I think, right, like, I think we can kind of safely say that Finn Jones is the worst casting choice that they've made in a whole list of, like, absolutely just fucking knocking it out of the park casting choices that Marvel has had. Finn Jones, it was just disappointing. I'm interested to see where they kind of go with it, bringing him back. We know Jessica Jones is coming back for season 2 of Born Again. That's been in the trailers and whatnot.
She mentions her kid, though.
Yeah.
She did not have a kid the last time we saw her.
No, she definitely didn't. She does have a kid with Luke Cage in the comics, who eventually grows up to become a version
who the kiddie poo is
of Captain America. So I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of really interesting possibilities here, but Charlie Cox as Daredevil is as good of casting as Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and I will hear no arguments against that opinion. He is just fucking fantastic in that role, and it's been great. We also caught ourselves up on Monarch, which Monarch Season 2 continues to be just a really, really excellent show. I think it is a show that even if you're not invested into the Godzilla and Kong and all of that shit, it's just a really solid show with some really, really great performances. It's really, really beautifully shot as well. It's just a really pretty show. So we've caught back up on that. We fell behind on Invincible. We have not started The Boys because we just haven't had time this week. Just, life has gotten in the way. Tiff's had a bunch of late nights. She just got home about 20 minutes ago because as a vet, as a vet tech working in a busy hospital, they got slammed with a bunch of emergencies right at the end of the night. And that's just... Sometimes that shit happens, She's like, I'm going to leave at 8. I'm going to leave at 10 because a bunch of people came in and they needed help. But I unfortunately have met a lot of the people that she worked with because last week we did have to end up putting Indiana down. We had to put her down on Saturday of last week. She was just starting to deteriorate. She had bit Sarge a couple of times, and we thought maybe there was a way we could maybe try and do some things or put her somewhere else or whatever, but a dog with multiple bite histories who's starting to deteriorate relatively rapidly kind of made the decision a little bit easier. Still painful and difficult and all of those things. But, I am forever in awe of the people that do the job that Tiff does, and the people that she works with are the vets and the people that work in vet medicine are really incredible people. And I don't know, I really don't know how they do it all day. It's just kind of nuts. And one of those things where you never know what your day is going to be, right? Like I said, Tiff was, I'll be coming home soon. Maybe we'll do this. And then she sent me a message. Have a good show. I'll be home after 10 because fuck, it's Friday night and there's a bunch of shit that came in. So anyway, the only gaming I really did this past week was I finished Minishoot Adventures. And that may be a record for me recently. I started Minishoot Adventures on April 2nd, and I finished it on April 4th. I put like 9 hours into that game over 2 days. Man, it was good. It was so good. The challenge ramped up exactly as it should. All of the additional abilities that you got were spaced out perfectly. Just an absolutely wonderful little game that I highly, highly recommend anybody who listens to this show. If you have been listening to us for a while and you're like, I think I like the games that they like, Minishoot Adventures is a game for you. I promise it just works. It just works. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful game. How often, Kris, in the years that you've known me, do I blow through a game that quickly?
You do like blowing.
Sure, obviously, but games, I like to savor. I like to take my time. Not with this one, man. Not with this one. Ripped through it. Yeah, great game.
I very much would like to play this.
Yeah.
It's on the wish list.
Yep. You are going to love it. You are. This and Pepper 2.
I look forward to loving that. Yep. This and Pepper 2.
This and Pepper 2. But that's it. It's been, a week of other things. But I am also going to shut up now so that you can take your painful ear up to bed so that we don't have to hear you bitch about it anymore. Honestly, it's been fucking tiring.
Bitch.
Just fucking complaining.
That's what I do.
It is. It's
all right. Yeah, this was a really front-loaded episode, huh?
It really was. Yeah, this was a big one. But thank you. I appreciate it. That's what she said.
I appreciate you.
It was a big one. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any hoozles.
Yeah.
That's it for our show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for being here. Join us next time when we will be discussing the April 10, 20, 30, 40 already. That doesn't seem right, but...
It is.
It is. Time flies, right? We're looking at April right now.
It certainly does.
Recording... Yeah, because recorded next week. We're going up to 24th, and that's it. That's the end of April.
Yeah.
It's going by fast. It's all going by fast.
It is.
Anywho, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows in the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. The show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by banjo guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. I'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That is it. Just real quick, I'll also like to say that next week, I believe I am guesting on the SNES podcast, also on Geekade.com, to talk about the wonder that is Cool Spot. We'll have that to look forward to as well. And that is it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
I was about to get jealous for a second, and then I remembered I don't want to fucking talk about Cool Spot at all.